What is up, everybody? Coming to you live from FenceTech 2026 here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Boys, I tell you what, it's already been a heck of a show, and the show's floor's been open for, what, an hour? 2 hours?
Something like that.
It's flown by.
It's gone quick, and it is packed.
I tell you what, so that's the thing is guys, watching at home, right behind you guys is kind of the main entrance. So we're looking down the main thoroughfare to the front doors. Mm-hmm. This place is packed, which... I mean, for the first day, sometimes those are a little hit or miss. Tomorrow is always packed, but today I wasn't really sure what to think. I mean, attendance numbers are up as far as registrations go. So, I mean, you figured it was going to be busy, but holy cow.
Zach Romero was just down here with Blackline HHP, said that they are popping on the other side here. So
I believe it.
I like it.
I believe it.
There's actually a fellow over here that I ran into. He's sitting down, and I said, "You enjoyed the show floor? How much have you got done?" He said, "I don't even think I've done half, and I'm tired."
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised he's gotten through half already.
Yeah.
I was like, geez.
So the last time or a few times ago when we were all live, we were talking about kind of what to do, and one of the things is make a plan, right? Have a plan for what you're going to do, how you're going to get through the show floor. I said, hey, start at one side, work to the other. In the first hour, I got about 3 aisles in.
Yeah.
I started at the far side. I've only made it 3 aisles this way. Just there's so many booths here. Mm-hmm. It feels like, I know when we were talking to AFA, they're talking about how, tons of booths, tons of floor space. This building's like 250,000 square foot or something.
Yeah.
But just the amount of booths is unreal.
I think there's a lot of great product here.
Yeah.
And I think the trends are hitting, like I'm in the vinyl fence market.
Yeah.
Black vinyl fence. It is there are a lot of booths.
There are several booths showing black. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's one thing has really kind of caught my eye. Mm-hmm. And then you got the normal ones that are just absolutely great. They're crushing the Helcos, the fence groups, the My Salesman, always the USS keeps doing awesome things over there. It's
well, Ameristar always fronting just right there in the front, either side of the main aisle. Doing fun things with the booths too.
Yeah.
Right. Like Ameristars, it's all set up for basketball in there, and there's literally a basketball hoop, and there's somebody in there shooting hoops right now.
So what they're doing there?
Well, they're playing basketball.
So if you hit a free throw, you get entered in to win an autograph signed basketball by one of the OKC Thunder. It's Shea something. I can't remember his last name.
Okay.
But Indiana guys, we don't like them. So.
Well, that's the thing is I saw it. They're all wearing OKC jerseys.
Yes.
I was like,
oh, now
bold move, Cotton.
Makes sense now.
A bold move.
Wow, a little bad blood there, huh?
I think so. Now listen, I love it because they're all in orange. I said, hello. What can I do to get one of those jerseys? I would like to know.
That is cool.
But no, you're seeing some really fun themes here too. Mm-hmm. So not only are we seeing just a wide variety of materials, but we're also seeing some just really fun themed. I mean, obviously there's an Indy car right in front of us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a lot of racing theme. Indy has a deep tradition with racing, but we also see some plays on just different things in the area too.
I like it. There's another Indy car over here.
Fence Supply Group, yep.
They have a lot of video game, video game.
Yeah, there's one over here and over here.
Well, Nationwide, I saw they've got a racing deal over there, and I mean, there's just a lot of fun going on here.
I like it.
Now, I don't know if have you guys made it this way yet?
A little bit.
A little bit.
There's a vinyl setup for a company, and they have two different ones, their product and another.
Okay.
And you can throw a baseball through it.
Oh.
And they're trying to show you the durability of their product compared to others.
That seems like a challenge.
It does.
It sounds like someplace I'm going to go right after this.
And you know what? They got a clock there, and they're clocking how fast you can throw.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Can we throw a bet down? Us three?
I tell you what, this sounds like a blown out shoulder right now.
And pulled back muscle. Left. Right. I'm calling lower left back muscle. Right ACL.
Maybe we do this Friday, after we're done, like right before they tear down. That way we can just get wrapped up and sent home.
Put me on a dolly.
So that's something to talk about. Just, we spend a lot of time talking about the different variety of booths, kind of what's going on, but this is a business conference. Let's not not talk about that, but it's also quite a lot of fun. We're talking about the networking. We were talking about networking last night. The Pickets and Pit Stops was an incredible event. More than 1,000 people showed up to that thing.
Everybody loved that.
It was so much fun. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of been the theme this week is there hasn't been, I haven't talked to anyone who's like, meh, It's all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like everyone has had a legitimately really good time. So, and yeah, last night's no exceptions. I mean, there's people out there just blasting golf balls left and right. The food was incredible.
Yep.
And just like the general, I don't know, vibe's kind of the word now, but just the general energy and feeling of that event flowed right into today. And it's, education started at 8 a.m.
Yep.
We had the keynote speaker at 11. Guys, I tell you what, he absolutely killed it.
Yes.
Yeah. It was great.
I mean, I think everyone again. So, last year Van Morris was the keynote speaker, and Bobby Batchelor had said it best. I think we said everyone walked out of there just a little bit taller.
Yeah.
Everyone came firing out this year, just full of energy and motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, ready to conquer the world, really.
The big thing with the keynote, what was cool when he wrote on that board and was getting, feedback from the crowd, and then not even 5 minutes later, he put every single thing into like the whole story.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow.
Yeah. So basically, he was like, "Hey, what excuses do you guys hear for why things can't get done?" It's like not enough money and not enough time and not enough da 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 da. And then he went through there and systematically just dismantled them all and said, "Wait a minute. So if your kids gave you this excuse for why they couldn't do something, you wouldn't accept it from them.
Right.
You'd say, absolutely not. We're still doing this and this." But you accept it from yourself, and you accept it from your team. So I think that was an incredible takeaway. There was just like, okay, we need more responsibility, more accountability.
Yeah.
Right. What he's talking about is shortening the gap or closing the gap between intention and results.
Yes.
Right. We intend to do this with our business. Well, we didn't get there. So what's that gap? What's that delta? And the idea is if you could close that gap by about 10%, you could make an incredible difference in your business. And that kind of tied in with the excuses that go along with what is in that gap.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it was huge. It was great. And I wondered how is somebody going to follow up from Van from last year? And then
That's always the question. Yeah.
Here we are.
Yep.
So
the AFA leadership team has done an incredible job at making sure speakers that are just absolutely lined up, ready to go. It's been a great experience the last several years. I don't want to minimize anybody that's spoken before. I mean, that seems to be one consistent thing with these FenceTech is that the speaker really sets the tone for the year.
Yeah. Here's the other thing is I've talked to 3 brand new guys, really new to the fence world and first FenceTech. And I'm like, what did you expect coming in here? Then what did you see? And they're like, dude, they really couldn't describe it.
Sure.
And I know this is the biggest show floor they've ever had. And Tools, Trucks, and Trailers, which is right behind us,
absolutely,
which wraps around. This is only about a third of it what you see here.
Yeah.
And that's we talked about it last night. That's the next big thing. This right here.
Exactly. You had asked, where do we think the next 5 years is going to be? That show floor turns into as big as this show floor, right?
Agree.
And specifically Tools, Trucks, and Trailers. I mean, you can see some upfitted trucks here behind us.
Yes.
Sean King and the Mr. Fence team have their trucks behind them, and then you get into your hand tools. I mean, obviously, no free shout outs, I guess, but there's a hand tool company back there in black and yellow. There's others that are walking the show floor this week, right?
Yep.
That is the room that's really going to, I think, be the largest growth potential moving forward.
I agree. That and backyard spaces, I think that's the next evolution for most fence companies.
That makes sense.
And not to jump ahead, but show floor next year in Phoenix has a space dedicated to that.
And it was not small.
Guys, you know what's crazy? So I was talking to some of the AFA guys last night. So AFA FenceTech 2027, which is in Phoenix, half of the premier booths are already sold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are already pre-sold. Because I think what happened, and a few of the vendors I talked to this year said, man, we really would have liked to have a larger booth, but by the time we got registered, there just wasn't space available. I mean, we had to be here, so we made do with this booth size. So I think those are the ones that are now beating a path over to. So there's a literal booth set up now for FenceTech Phoenix that are taking pre-registrations and general information, that's sort of thing.
Wild,
yeah,
I know.
That's
crazy.
But that's the thing is these vendors are saying, one, we recognize the value here, and two, we'd like to invest more. So let's go ahead and pre-schedule for next year while we're still here before this show's even over.
That's got to feel really good to be AFA, right?
Sure.
To know that, hey, we have to put our own booth because so many people want to keep coming back.
Right.
So all that winning.
Yeah,
Craig.
we're going to eliminate all these emails and phone calls. They'll just come to us and sign up again.
Yeah. I mean, it's a recognition of the hard work that goes into putting this event on.
Yeah.
Right? That I think the number as it stood, late last night was like 5,500.
Correct.
Yeah.
Pre-registers, in which, listen, we all know a few fence guys. We're not one of these guys, but a few fence guys that wait till the last minute to do anything. There's a good chance another 1,000 guys are going to show up at the on-site registration and come on in. So I'd be interested to hear what the closing number is. But I mean, yeah, it's an event that has 5,000-6,000 people show up in one place, all interested to do better for themselves through education, do better for their business by making these connections and meeting these vendors. And it's a heck of a room to be in.
The other thing is, if they're just showing up today, tomorrow, man, they've already missed 2 massive days. Our Monday Fence Fan meetup, we didn't even touch on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for all the sponsors and everyone to come out for
Yes,
one. That was absolutely phenomenal. And then obviously the pre-party. There's a lot going on. It's it is a grind this week. I'm tired in a good way. That's what I keep telling people. I'm tired in a good way.
I mean, that's the thing is like going into this event is like just when the show floor opened, I was already, last night I called it an early night, boys. It was like,
you ain't the only one.
I got to rest up for this because it's, Monday night we had the meet and greet. Over 200, we passed out 200 wristbands and then just kept letting people in. So over a couple hundred people there. Last night, the number I kept hearing was 1,000 plus last night. I mean, 5,500 pre-registered for this, for the show floor and the education. No matter what it is, there's a ton of people all descended into Indianapolis for this event in one way or the other.
And they've made it so easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just put everything here.
Yes.
I just love it. I love it. I love what they've done. They just got some key players. I just looked to my left. Nick Reich is over here. He put 70-plus education courses on top of the 3.
That ran like clockwork.
Ran like clockwork. What is really cool, I was over here farting around that main aisle. So there's a little bit of a time gap between classes when everyone's in the main aisle. Yep. And then it's just like awesome. It's like a family reunion. Then they kind of disperse into class. And then now today the show floor opens. But it's been a good time. Well,
I mean, just looking down the hall right before the keynote. Looking at all the people just waiting in the keynote speaker.
Packed.
It's in, talking about keynotes, so that was the opening keynote. The closing keynote still is yet to happen. It'll be Friday after the show. Van Morris, keynote speaker from last year, is going to come close it down. And I tell you, there's still so much to come. Like literally the show floor's only been open a couple hours and we're already so far into this.
I did want to say too, one of the cool things that they did this year was, because all the vendors usually stay inside here. They don't go out there and can see everything.
Sure.
They don't get to see the ribbon cutting and do all those picture things. So they all stay in here, but they played all the audio in here for all of them, so they can still hear the keynote and stuff, which was super cool. And and I even want to say this walkway here is what, 40 feet wide?
It's more than 40.
Massive.
Yeah,
and
it's like 50.
I mean, it's packed.
Yeah, it's packed, and they keep pouring in. And we're several hours in, but this is Wednesdays now feel like a heavy day, right?
I know.
When I first started coming to FenceTech, Wednesdays were like it built up in a week. Now it's just like, holy Moses, the floodgates open.
Yeah, it almost felt like as vendors you were here Wednesday, Friday, so that you could be here Thursday. Right? Thursday was the main day. The other 2 days you just happened to be here. I mean, looking at this group here, I mean, I think there's going to be just as much business done today as there will be tomorrow.
Yes. Look, they're just pouring in, too.
Yeah, they keep coming.
They pour in. I love it. Familiar faces and just a ton of new ones.
Yeah,
absolutely.
A ton of new ones, and I love that.
So here's something that my sister and I were talking about earlier was, so to keep getting more and more booths, great problem to have. Keep having more education, great problem to have. At what point does this become another day longer?
Yeah.
Like at some point, I feel like you've got to add a day onto this just because there's so much to do here, right? When Friday afternoon comes and they start, just shoehorning people out of this room and you haven't met everybody, you haven't had the conversations you need to have. I mean, again, listening to talking about last night, the AFA being great at listening, like I think that question is going to come up more and more is, do we add another day to this to try to, allow for these additional conversations? Probably.
Yeah. I think they even add, like, at least start off adding at least another hour per day or something.
Yeah.
I think Wednesday got longer.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Wednesday
that makes sense.
was shorter.
Okay.
I think it keeps getting longer. I think. Don't
and
quote me.
that's obviously that's the first opportunity. Is so we got a half day today, full day tomorrow, half day Friday. That will be the first opportunity to start adding hours on either side just to allow for those conversations.
Yeah. The other thing too is Friday. So if you guys are still, at this point, you'd probably need to be drivable, but Friday you can come in for free.
Yeah.
So everybody,
that's true.
Local, anybody can come in for free.
Yep, giving everybody the opportunity to come in to see the show floor. If for whatever reason, cost was an issue, the show floor is open to everybody on Friday. And that's kind of what we had said when we had our group discussion. Was it about a month ago? It seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But talking about how a lot of the vendors would have passes to get on the show floor, but for whatever reason, if you couldn't make that happen, but you are available on Friday, I mean, I think everyone in here would love to see you.
I like it. Craig, what's your favorite booth?
Man, I don't know. Well, okay, I'll say. Can I say my favorite and not favorite at the same time?
Ooh. Not favorite might be tough, but you say there's the same one?
Well, it's more of trash talking, I guess. It's
Oh,
the same one.
okay.
Go ahead.
I do like the Ameristar booth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Indiana, basketball, they got a score thing.
Yep.
They're giving away basketball, they got a goal. But I hate that they're all in OKC.
Okay.
I get that's where they're from, this,
Yeah.
that,
What's
whatever.
what's the record of OKC in Indiana this year?
Are we going there right now?
I'm not a basketball guy. I'm just curious.
Let's not
to
say
know.
this year. But we did play each other in the finals last year.
I think that is your answer, Dan.
Okay.
I think that is your
I
answer.
figured.
I don't know the answer either, but it
figured.
sounds like that's the
It's
answer.
not so good. Let's just say that they're really good to go back to back, and we may
Okay.
have the first draft pick next year.
Oh,
So
from what I
that's
heard, Joe, from what I heard, they were
Yeah.
paying people to go to the game,
Oh, that's interesting.
and I heard that from two
That's
Indiana
interesting.
guys.
Oh, okay.
So-
and people still didn't go.
And they
So
what is that?
that's tough. Well, and I'm not really a basketball guy. I am a football guy, and I know they don't give first draft picks to like
What'd you say?
the winners.
Yeah.
Usually they give that to the other guys. But
I like it. Joe, what's your
anyway.
favorite booth?
Man, you got to narrow it to one. That's the hardest part. One, I haven't seen them all. Right, like I've seen a few of the key booths. I've seen. I don't know. I like the fact that Nationwide's got everything out to where you can just touch and feel it. They've usually their booths loaded with not only a lot of sales professionals, but also a lot of the folks with the engineering background. So if you've got a question, Ameristar's a great booth. I don't know. Like how do you narrow this down?
Yeah, you really can't.
Master Alco's got a great booth over there. So I don't know. It's always so tough because it almost seems like there's a competition within the competition to have like the best booth at the show. I gotta go. I gotta go. Nationwide Industries for sure.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's a good
They always
booth.
have a good interactive booth, especially when it comes to gate hardware. That's kind of a no-brainer.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Craig?
like it.
Oh no, Craig said Ameristar. So Dan, what's yours?
I like all the pounders that are out, from big to small to really
Yeah.
big. That's what I like.
Well, yeah, everything from handheld to like truck mounted.
Yes.
And everything in between.
Yeah.
The dedicated equipment, the equipment on plates where you can use on a mini scale. I mean, everything in between. I think that's probably the most. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say the most well represented segment might be the driven segment this year, but I don't know. There's a lot of software here. Obviously, there's a lot of supply here. Obviously, tons of automation. Dorking has a massive presence, which they always do.
with tons of reps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
Lots
tons of
of
reps.
Dorking reps in there. So it's always hard to pick the best one. So
I
don't
like
know.
it.
So what? I don't know. What's next, guys? What are we thinking here? I mean, I know Craig and I are going alternating lives, right? So Craig's actually getting ready to come on here on about 15 minutes ish with a guest. Then I'll have Job Nimbus on at 4:00 Eastern. And then that'll wrap up today. And then Craig and I will kind of go back and forth tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of lives. And then Friday we'll go back and forth again. We'll wrap it up Friday midday. We'll have the three of us, maybe another guest, to do a wrap up, kind of give you guys an idea, a rundown how the show went.
And then real quick, Craig, the veteran fence. What did they do real quick?
So veterans brought in, what is the name? It's I forget something Warriors. Now I'm going
trying to
blank.
pronounce it. I can't read it that far.
Yeah,
but yes.
I can't see it either. Irreverent.
Yes.
Irreverent Warriors.
Yeah. So they are going to be speaking at one of the special interest groups, aka
Okay.
SIG.
Yeah.
And they kind of do a bunch of stuff for obviously veterans, and they do things from just helping them out, and they raise a lot of money to help all across the country. The ones that are here are from the Cleveland area, but they're going to speak at that SIG meeting on Friday. So
Which is a group meeting.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all the SIGs together.
And
so
they have
it's-
a booth here.
Yeah.
They have a booth here.
So it's awesome. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, right over
Just
there.
going to give them a shout out. But yeah, that's because John with Veterans
Classic.
Fence does a lot with veterans in the fence community. So love it.
Great cause. So we talked about the special interest groups. Their meeting is still to come. We still have a lot to come, right?
Yeah.
So we've still got the brunch tomorrow. We've still got the special interest groups the morning after that. It's guys, the show. It's weird to say it just started because it started several days ago, but the real core of the show just started. If you haven't made plans to attend, you ought to get here. You still have a couple days. Don't feel like just because you're not here right now it means you can't be here later on. I mean, this is really the place to be right now.
I agree.
Sounds good.
Also, mark it on your calendars. Phoenix next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
First week of March.
Yeah,
First week of March.
1st through 5th.
Talk about a great show. Now that Phoenix, the Phoenix Expo or the convention center is absolutely massive. It is gigantic, and it makes you wonder. It's like, and this is something we always talk about. Like, how do you get bigger? Well, I mean, look around this room. This room is cram packed.
Awesome.
They ran out of room, so
Awesome.
I can't wait to see what Phoenix looks like. I don't want to jump too far ahead of ourselves here, but I mean, just looking at how many people are here, the energy in this room, I mean, it's only up from here.
I agree. I love it.
We have all these sitting areas around us, and it's packed here now.
Oh, yeah.
People resting
Yeah,
from
it's
walking
crazy.
There's
so
a few
much.
hundred people just all around us right now, and it still is chock full down each way, down the aisles of each way you're looking.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely unreal. Guys, stay tuned for more great lives, some more great interviews coming up. We've got a few scheduled for today. We've got a whole day tomorrow. Then we've got some planned for Friday as well. As always, drop a comment in the comments below if you like what you see, if you got any questions, that sort of thing. For now, Joe Everest,
Dan Wheeler.
Craig Eubanks.
reminding you that good fences make good neighbors. We'll see you next time. What is up, everybody? Joe Everest, the fence expert, coming to you live from FenceTech 2026 in Indianapolis, Indiana. I tell you what, if you guys watched our interview or our segment just a few minutes ago, just a little bit ago, what a show, what a crowd. If you guys aren't here, you absolutely should be. Make plans to attend next year, FenceTech 2027 in Phoenix. With me now, Nate from Job Nimbus. Now, Job Nimbus is a business I've loved, a company I've loved for years and years. I know a lot about it, but maybe for the few people at home that haven't heard about Job Nimbus, a 30,000-foot view.
Yeah. So with it, Job Nimbus, we've been around since 2013. So starting in 2013, really our goal is to make our contractors heroes. Make your life easier, to be the hero both in your business and at home. So, we're a CRM that allows you to track jobs from start to finish, really work everything through, and to simplify your processes. Because, as we all know, it gets pretty busy pretty quick, and things slip through the cracks, all things like that.
Yeah, and businesses are really just a series of processes.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's one of the things I appreciate. One of the things I appreciate a lot about Job Nimbus is how easy it makes it to run a business effectively and efficiently. I mean, it's everything from the lead coming in and tracking that lead until it becomes a job and a job into a project, or it follows it through the whole journey, right?
Yeah.
From start to finish. And I'll tell you what makes it really nice for me is everything from the emails to the job notes, everything lives in that job file. It's an all-in-one inclusive CRM, really.
Exactly. Everything's easy to find. You don't need to dig for it.
Yep.
I mean, I've talked to a handful of people today that are like, oh, we're still on paper, or we're using a Google
Sure.
sheet. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you know what's going on with each of these jobs? Word of mouth. I half the time forget people that I've chatted with like 20 minutes ago. How am I supposed
Right.
to remember exactly where everything is in the process?
Absolutely.
So-
And you guys help visualize it, right? So
Exactly.
one, the visualization of the boards is really nice because you can see where everything is and whether it's the pre-sale flow, whether it's just the lead flow or where they are in the sales process or pre-production, production. You can visualize it with just a few clicks.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, I think it sets Job Nimbus apart, is the customizability.
Yeah.
So you can customize your board to have what you need, when you need it, get particular pieces of data out of that. And I think that's really one of the game changers of Job Nimbus, is just being able to know where things are and when.
Absolutely. Yeah, and customization is an important topic to talk about here for a second. So I was sharing with you before we went live that a neighbor of ours, their family has a roofing company, and they also knew I was wearing some Job Nimbus gear, and they said, "How did you know Job Nimbus?" I said, "I love them," and we got to talking about that. And so she's like, "Can I bring my laptop?" She goes, "How do you guys use this or that? Can I bring my laptop over?" We spent a couple hours just looking at how our boards were set up versus their boards. We're comparing automations, how our automations work versus theirs, and we both learned from each other. It's like, you do this part really well. And she's looking at mine. She goes, "Oh, your boards are set. Oh, this makes sense. And this board fires this automation." And it's customized to the business, but it's also something to where it's also easily changed, I guess is a fair point too.
Yeah. Anything that comes up, you're able to take that in, change it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no, sitting by waiting to make those changes.
Yeah.
You could, as you're sitting there together, be like, "Oh, let me add that one. That one's awesome."
For better or worse. I'll say that.
It can, obviously with anything that's customizable, you can really get out there with your stuff, and it can, in the end, cause problems.
Yes. Yep. I can tell you that from firsthand experiences. I've made a few changes that have caused a few issues within it. But this is also probably a good point to say, or a good place to say, the customer service, customer support on your guys' end is absolutely fantastic, absolutely fabulous. Because one, when I break something, there's no judgment on how this thing got broken. It's let's get in here and try to fix it. Let me help you. Let me walk you through it. But then also, like, I'm a fence guy, so I'm not like a super tech guy. So it's also like, well, we can also log in and try to help you solve a few of these things. And the thing I appreciate the most is almost every time they say, "Hey, while we're here, can I look around? Can I poke around and just see if I can offer some suggestions on," because you guys see so many of these boards, so many of these company files that you guys have a pretty good idea for best practices. Yeah. And it's, if I could leave you with a few nuggets, like think about this and this and this, and I'm like, oh, that's genius.
And I think with that, I mean, going back to the no judgment piece, as any business owner knows, you hire someone that knows their stuff better than you do.
Sure. Yes.
And as Job Nimbus, that's our goal. There's no judgment. We understand we're the experts on how this works. We're just there to make your life easier.
Yeah.
And I think, if we jump into it, it kind of goes back to our values as a company.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit before we jumped on here about, the way that we do things, our culture in Job Nimbus, and really the big piece to this is our goal is to make contractors heroes, and that we talk about that nonstop. And that's one thing I've been at different tech companies, and you talk about your values, but they kind of fall off a little bit.
Sure.
We talk about it all the time, monthly, quarterly. It's something that we really dive into on the why. Yeah. Because I think that just helps us understand, why do we show up to work every day? And it definitely works. And I know we talked about, you can feel it top down.
Absolutely.
They really care.
So, and that was one of my biggest takeaways from my last visit is you can tell, like, people can say they care, but you can really tell if they do, or they really buy into it. They really own the experience, because they're asking questions that show they legitimately care, and they really want to know what problems you're facing, how they can help, how they can be better. All of these, where I don't know, it's very much a feeling from top down, from whether you're talking to somebody who started yesterday versus whether you talk to somebody who'd been there for years. Yeah. You can tell you guys live the journey, which is make the contractor be the hero, and follow that hero's journey, and that also flows in. You're also kind of giving that example to your contractors to say, hey, you guys could probably take a page from this and make your customers the heroes and really continue that experience on down.
Yeah. And the way that we break things down as far as like making our contractors heroes is a couple things. Number one, obviously, we want you to be your customers' heroes.
Sure.
We also want you to be your family's heroes. Like we're trying to give you time back. I know every contractor I talk to, even those that use Job Nimbus, you guys are busy.
Sure, yeah.
Like it is not, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, just, hey, I'm doing this, I'm hanging out. Like,
right.
You got 6 p.m., someone's off work, you're like, yeah, I'll be out there for an inspection. I'll be out there to talk through things. So really, our goal is to be able to give back to your families through this, back to, your communities. Every contract I know really cares about the community.
Yeah.
So we live and breathe this of, hey, let me show you a couple things that I think can change that. And going back to that, a lot of the big things that I do is I ask why.
Yeah.
If you were like, hey, I'm doing this automation, like, okay, tell me why.
Okay, yeah.
Is this going to be the best use down the road? Let's find out.
Yeah.
Because obviously I've seen people do the same thing, and if it's for a very particular use case, awesome.
Sure.
It's going to work.
Yeah.
But we could make some tweaks and actually make it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're getting to a destination that I'm already fairly familiar with, I bet I got a little bit better way to get there, in a way you're going to enjoy it just a little bit more. Let's rewind just a half a step and talk about, helping your contractors kind of buy back their time, right? Or time with the family, time with the community. I'll tell you, and this is going to sound made up, and it's absolutely the truth. So I was obviously doing bids until, Friday evening, and we left on Sunday. In our automations, it automatically follows up with the customer. Hey, just touching base, going to see if there's any other questions or anything I can help you understand with the quote. So this morning I woke up to, and I check my emails regularly. So this happened sometime between when I last checked it yesterday evening and this morning when I woke up. Project came in signed. So we got I got notification that the proposal was opened, and then that it came back signed, and that the deposit was made. And so then that also triggered an automation, say, hey, do these few tasks and that sort of thing. I can't tell you how nice of a feeling it was that while I'm here at FenceTech, it's following up with my customers where they obviously feel seen, right? Say, hey, and they could have replied back to that email, would have come back to me, and I could have interacted with them in real time. But it also gave them the opportunity to sign it digitally, electronically, and then also it prompted them to also pay the deposit on the project, all while I was sleeping. Because I usually check my emails. I don't know if anybody else does this, but right before I go to sleep and right when I wake up. So sometime in that delta was the perfect time for them to review it and to pay the deposit. So really what Job Nimbus helped me as a contractor and me as my company do is meet them where they were as far as convenient time, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, just like contractors, everyone has times that work best for them. I'm sure, I've got a 2-year-old, so most of my time is once she's down and once I'm sitting there, actually able to breathe, I'll, go through, find those, and be like, oh yeah, no, I need to get on top of that. So I think going back to kind of your piece there is, our goal is to make it so that you can take a lot of that guesswork out of, oh man, like there's nothing worse when you're sitting at home, you're finally relaxed, and you're like, I'm forgetting something.
Wait a minute,
I have something that I should be looking at.
Yeah.
So I think really with it just allows you to take that guesswork out.
Sure.
You know that, hey, I've got follow-ups, with the automations, they can be, again, set up however you need them to be. If you want it to be every 30 minutes, that's a bit much, but
maybe
you can do it. But basically being able to take that guesswork out, have the follow-ups, once it's, let's say 7 days out, you have it kicked back to the salesperson like, hey, let's give them a call.
Yep.
Obviously that makes 7 days maybe a little far out, but
sure,
you can customize it in a way that then prompts some personalized out there, because I know everyone wants personal touch in there. Yeah. But it really then helps the customer know exactly where they are.
Well, and it helps the team interaction too, right? So in this example where the deposit had come in, 1, it notified me that it came in. 2, it also notified Holly in bookkeeping that, hey, a deposit's been received. So let's make sure that transaction was entered in QuickBooks. Let's also make sure, these few things are done. Let's advance it now to this, if then sort of things. Yeah. But it also let the team know, hey, this is in play. This project is now accepted. So even though I'm here having this conversation with you, the team in the office knows, all right, the deposit came in. We need to make sure it's booked. We need to now do these pre-production tasks, all while I'm having a conversation with you or working in my business or spending time with my family. I mean, I could be doing any number of things. So Job Nimbus just makes the process easier.
Yeah, and that's our goal. Let's make it as simple as possible with obviously some customizability in there, but let's make it as simple as possible to get paid, know where jobs are. Yeah. No more of that anxiety at the end of the day, like I'm forgetting something.
Right.
Something I should be remembering in there.
Well, and you guys also make it easier to communicate with your customers, right? So
Absolutely.
Whether it's the email that's built in, which for me is a game changer, sometimes in the past with others, softwares we've used, the email sits outside of it, and that can be kind of a clunky process sometimes if we're trying to copy and paste it into the notes, or it all lives inside there. But then also now through Engage, we can text our clients as well, because I'll have a couple hundred unread emails right now. my unread text messages, 0.
100%.
And I've got to feel like that might be common out there in the world.
Very.
So the texting through the Engage platform lets us, we use it in a few different ways. One, we let our customers know the proposal's there. Now, we tell them ahead of time. Say, hey, when I send this proposal to you, it's also going to generate a text message. Because sometimes emails end up who knows where. But that way it's going to let you know it's there. So they know what's coming. But then also, it's a great way to also remind customers, you can now send the invoice link through text message, so that they don't have to go try to either find the email on their phone or try to find it on an iPad or laptop, whichever. Everything can be done right there through text. The Engage platform makes it, again, incredibly easy, this time easy to communicate.
Yeah. Well, and the big one is, I've actually talked to tons of contractors that I've said things like, hey, how many emails do you have in your personal email right now? I'm like, like 30,000.
Yeah.
A little bit of And I always say, well, how do you expect your customers, if they're the same way, to find this estimate that you sent them?
Yeah.
So in this, we can send it out, followed up by a text message. We could say, hey, just so you know, we shot you your estimate.
Yep.
You can find it in your email, and we send it to this email address. Then
Perfect.
They can easily respond, saying pieces like that. Quick plug, and we'll talk a little bit about it, but we have our peak performance that just came out.
Okay.
So we released it this week for fencing.
Yeah.
It talks a little bit about that.
Okay.
Homeowner communication preferences. I think that's something that is helpful to understand.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, how do people want to get? If you shoot me an email like we've talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
But it may be a minute before
Sure,
I notice
absolutely.
it. So, yeah, making it easier for people to again find those, but also just know where they are in the process.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. The Peak Performance Report is out now for the fencing community.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's in it. What is the report?
Yeah. So we've broken it down in a lot of different ways, but mostly it's a way. We used a third party to go out and survey a bunch of people, both customers and contractors, and understand the industry.
Sure.
So in there we have pieces that talk about what's changing in the industry.
Okay.
Who's doing what? Where the best margins are. So in there's things like 55% of your referrals are basically becoming those sold jobs.
Okay.
So
yeah.
referrals are still probably the highest converting of all of the lead sources. Different things that go into how customers want to be communicated with.
Sure.
Basically a lot of different statistics to help understand. One that, as I read through, that kind of stood out to me was that 56% of contractors right now are looking to retire in the next 5 years. So there is an older group that is going to be shifting out of the industry. That there's some young guys that get ready and buckle up and hit the industry going.
It'll probably leave a pretty significant hole in the industry because these guys that are to the age of where they are ready to retire are likely running successful businesses that are doing a fair amount of business. So when they're ready to retire, as they're ready to exit, maybe they sell the business, maybe they don't, but either way, it probably does leave a hole in that market.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of really cool insight in there.
Nice.
I mean, one of them, again, is the average margin is 9%.
Okay.
And right now there's a big shift into moving into metals because there's typically a higher margin.
Better margin, yeah.
So,
absolutely.
There's things like that that's just going to give you a leg up of just understanding trends and where to go. I think that's, in any industry, having that extra knowledge to make the proper decisions in your business is really going to set you apart.
Yeah.
And peak performance is something that we offer for free. So
Nice.
on there, you can go to jobnims.com.
Okay.
You'll find the peak performance page from there, and you basically put in some information, and we'll send you a PDF.
Perfect.
It just shows up, and you can scroll through and look at different sections.
Well, let's do this. So, guys, if you're watching live, this won't work quite as well. But if you're watching the recorded live of this, we'll drop a link in the comment section to where you guys can click and enter some information and then be able to pull that report off.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, so the report, you had mentioned a few things in terms of conversion rate, in terms of margin. That's another thing I really like about the platform itself is through the Insights tab, I can look at our real-time insights into our business in terms of hey, from a lead to a conversion, but then once you also get the proposal to them, this conversion rate, you kind of break it down in a way that's easy to understand. Say, hey, if the phone rings, I've got a 35% chance of converting them to a customer. But once I get them the proposal, I have a 65% chance of turning them into the customer. Like, okay, well, now I know. That helps me understand my numbers a little bit better to say, all right, and through, there's a little bit more math involved here, but if our average profit is X, then that means I can afford to pay Y for my leads if we're looking at lead generation. Or, and you guys can actually also dial it into if you have multiple salespersons and kind of look at the data by salesperson to say, hey, your guys' lead conversion looks the same, but your post-proposal performance looks a little bit different. Yeah. So maybe we talk about what's working, what's not working, that sort of thing. It's the Insights tab is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's great, and you can even break it down by lead source. So there's in there, there's a whole section that's like, hey, here are your top performing lead sources.
Yeah,
if you're spending money on, let's say, Google ad, but referral is just out the roof.
Yeah,
why put so much into that as the referral? So gives you a lot of that insight, pun intended on that, but a lot of insight into how it's working for your team.
Sure.
Every team's going to act and react differently to different pieces, but like you said, being able to say, hey, I can get you from, I can move people into getting a proposal, but it's the closing that I'm struggling with.
Sure.
Maybe I'm going to my manager and be like, hey, how can I level that up? Or sales leadership going in and saying, hey, let's work on these. Here's some things that others are doing. So definitely gives that quick view into those changes and how you can see where the business is going.
Absolutely. I mean, we used it. So when we're talking about renewing some of our marketing, different ways that we market, we'll use that as data for that conversation to say, hey, whether it, as an example, TV over radio. Yeah. Well, radio's performing so much better, and you can look and see, hey, we generated this much revenue. As a company, we know that our net profit on the revenue is this percentage, so we can reasonably assume we came to about this profit for that particular sales channel or, marketing channel. Okay, well, so maybe we have a little bit more to play with. Or, unfortunately, it didn't perform that. I mean, there's no telling if that's a platform issue or what, but it helps you have those conversations.
For sure.
To say, and it takes a little bit of the emotion out of it. It takes a little bit more of the feeling out of it. I think everyone would agree, if you're looking at your insights, referrals are, and it's not even close, are the number one, and it's not even close, which probably also illustrates, hopefully that's the case, because that means you're running a business that people will then refer other people to. They'll brag on you, whatnot. But also it probably incentivizes you as a company to try to create maybe a referral program.
Yeah.
It also lets you know, so hey, if we're converting this much on referrals, but maybe we're not getting ratings or reviews. Okay, well that's something that if we're getting referred all the time, well maybe we need to push a review referral program or whatever the conversation is. I guess the point being, you guys make the insights available to everyone on the platform, and it's literally clicking the Insights tab. And I show this to my guys. I'm like, guys, this is the amount of data that we collect. And I say I actually don't have to collect it at all. You guys do. Yeah. But again, making me look like a hero here, just to support some of these business decisions that we're making. And listen, the referral is absolutely our team, right? It's our team going out there, whether it's the installation in the field, whether it's the office, the back end support, whether it's the fabrication, making sure everything is made just right. Like, guys, this referral is you. You are the reason for these referral sources. And anyway, the Insights tabs make a lot of these conversations happen more naturally, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you touched on the past couple of, home projects I've done, referrals.
Yeah.
It's, hey, anyone use someone that's done this in their home? Like, people reach out, I had a great experience with X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So again, the Insights takes time off your hands from getting that. It allows you to be that referable customer.
Absolutely.
And I think one of my favorite parts about the Insights is your sales guys have access to it as well, which I think sometimes, reporting is completely taken away from someone who's maybe not in there, but it's reporting for them. So as if I'm your sales rep, I go in, I can see my conversion rates, I can see my close rates on these things, and I think that at least gives me control over, hey, I can see where I'm closing better.
Sure.
I'm going to focus way more on XYZ. If it's, this lead source,
Yeah.
I better buckle down because that's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
It gives them that ability to see what's going on.
Or if you see a lead source that's lagging. All right, well, what can we do to try to bring this up? Because maybe that's showing you, hey, there's a pretty big opportunity here to take advantage of, a leak in a bucket, right? And say, hey, what can we do to shore this up a little bit and really find some business that, that we can capitalize on.
For sure.
I guess. It's just, it's all the data at your fingertips in real time. It makes it so much easier. And again, I guess the overarching theme of this is Job Nimbus makes it easy.
It does.
Right. Whether it's the automations making my life easier by following up with the customers, whether it's the insights making it easier for us to understand our business, where it's coming from or how it's processing through. One thing I wanted to touch on, I want to make sure we get a chance to talk about, is the sales process. The quote. Correct me on this. The new sales experience.
We call it estimating.
Estimating. Okay.
So we got our legacy.
Yeah.
And our estimating.
Sure. Okay. The estimating makes my life so much easier. Now it took a minute to get there. So we used the legacy.
Yep.
Now you guys made it tremendously easy to take a legacy template, move it into the new estimating, and then create measurement. What's that?
Tokens.
Yeah, measurement tokens. Yeah. So let's use wood fence as an example. So for my business, and you guys make it customizable. So I'll track how many sections, how many gates, how many total lineal feet, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then I can teach it. So on pickets, I can say, hey, here's how you know how many pickets. You can take, whether it's by sections or by feet or 2x4s, by sections or by, it'd be by sections, but you can train it to know, all right, so if I need this many sections, I need this many posts.
Yep.
If I need this many sections, I need this many rails. To where all of that now comes pre-populated. So by entering 3 or 4 tokens in the measurements tab, it pulls that data, and it's down to like the nails.
Yeah.
So I know, hey, if I'm going to need this many boards, I need this many nails and that sort of thing. I double check it just because I've got trust issues in general, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's a quote takes me 5 minutes if I'm taking my time, because it's pulling that information into the bid, and it makes it incredibly easy to now generate alternate estimates.
Yeah.
So if it's, hey, we'd like to see a chain link and an ornamental iron. Okay, well, for us, those are separate quotes.
Yeah.
But we're using the same tokens, the same measurements, the same section counts, that sort of thing. Tremendously easy to generate, and it's an experience. The quote packet is an experience for the customer. Now, it's an experience that we tailor. You guys make it incredibly, again, easy to say, hey, here's your cover page. We include our certificate of insurance because we like a lot of people. We like them to see that. We include a cover letter from me saying, hey, here's some values that we hold dearly that I think you would as well. Here's the quotes. Here's the supporting documentation. Here's our warranty, and an example of a warranty that you would get, should we do your work.
Yeah.
And it's done. It's pre-populated. It's pulling the names from the job and the customer. It's pulling the address from the job and the customer. 5 minutes might be me taking my time too.
Yeah.
Which is tremendous. I mean, the legacy was good. The legacy was pretty quick because, again, it's pre-populated. Mm-hmm. This takes that even a step further.
It really does. Well, and one of the things that I kind of always jump back to when I talk to people about this is kind of the old adage of sharpening your axe before you get into it.
Yeah.
Before you chop down the tree, 5-10 minutes of sharpening your axe is going to cut that time down.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's not every time you chop a tree down, it's once.
Sure. Yeah.
So I definitely think there is some nuance and some pieces that you got to build. You got to take a little bit of time to set it up.
Sure.
But once it's set up, you're off to the races.
Absolutely.
Create an estimate. I always say for your sales guys, they put in those measurements. They don't need to even worry about the rest of the information in there. Make sure that the numbers are correct.
Yep.
Make sure the price came out to the proper amount.
Yep.
And then they're just double checking that there's not any other random things that they want to include in this quote.
Yeah.
And it's ready to go. And it's plug and play.
Absolutely.
If you wanted different sections, you can drop in templates into all sorts of different spots.
Yeah.
They give you the ability to make this exactly what you need it to be.
Well, and it can be tailored to the project as well. You can easily enter, so we'll sometimes drop in a custom PDF if it's a special type of material. So if we've got a sales material for that specific deal, we'll drop that in. Or if the customer, while we were meeting with them, had questions about boundary lines, well, we can snap a picture of the county assessor's layout of the property. PDF can go right in there as well. Again, it's click. Select your file, upload it. Sometimes you'll have generic, so we'll have all of our sales brochures already in there. So we're literally just selecting an existing brochure to put in there as well. Customizable to the customer, and again, incredibly easy.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is that anything you have uploaded to the job, like it exists there too. So it's not like I need to go find this PDF. If you already have it in the job, you just click, tell it which one you want.
Yeah.
You're going.
And vice versa too.
Yeah.
So if I take this screenshot of the plat layout and I upload it into the proposal, now it also lives in the job file as well.
Yep.
It's going to save there in the document section where I know here it is. Or if I'm including a picture maybe of a problematic area that I take a picture of, say, hey, this is how we're going to. That gets saved into the photos the minute I upload it into that quote.
Exactly.
It's so easy.
Super easy. And obviously, like we said, a little bit of setup, but it makes life so much easier.
It does. It absolutely does. And we never have enough time to cover everything on these conversations. We haven't even gotten into the interactions yet, or the integrations yet.
Yeah.
So you guys integrate with a lot of the key components that fencing companies are already using. For me, Company Cam comes to mind.
Yep.
But it's you guys integrate. We use QuickBooks for our accounting. There's an integration there. Again, listen, I'm a fence guy, and I figured out how to make these integrations work. So if a fence guy can do it, I think there's hope really for anybody.
And we have all sorts of different on our help centers. We have a toolbox that we like to say that are training modules they're preset to help with admin, sales, field guys, but then also a full library of, hey, we'll talk about ArcSite. We have an integration with them.
Yeah.
You're able to search ArcSite, and it gives you a step-by-step and with pictures, how do I integrate this myself?
Nice.
Obviously, you have people at Job Nimbus who can walk you through that and
Yeah.
help you with that. But if you want to get it figured out, like it's there for you, you make it as easy as possible to get you that information.
Sure. Well, and that's the thing is you guys, as part of this hero's journey, you make sure that your contractors are armed with all the information they could possibly need to make their business as successful as it can be through using the software.
100%.
I shared with you, so our neighbor uses the software, so she and I had kind of compared notes. You guys actually take that a step further where you set up events like this, the crew events, to where you can put contractors in the same room to say, hey, here's some best practices we see, but also we'd kind of like to hear how you guys are using it as well.
100%. Well, and that's where we first met.
Yes.
Was at a Job Nimbus crew event. We actually have one coming up in March.
Okay.
So March 24th through the 26th, we're going to have the crew event. Essentially, we have this event in Lehigh, Utah. So it's a little bit south of Salt Lake. Contractors come, sit together, learn from each other. We have meetings with our CEO. I always say Ben, our CEO, is phenomenal. You listen to him talk, you feel our mission.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, well, how can I help contractors be heroes? He's like, boom,
Right.
I'm ready to to jump and get this done.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of people coming to the crew. They're like, I'm a little on the fence.
Sure.
Boom. They hear Ben talk, they hear our leadership talk, and they're like, I see what you're trying to do, and I want to be part of this.
Well, I think that's probably where that feeling of culture from the top down comes from, because you can tell from the very top, there's complete and utter buy-in of this is our mission, and this is our why. So now every decision we make, everything we bring out will map to this why of making the contractors the heroes in the story. And like I said, it's you get that feeling from when you walk in the door, just that everyone's committed to making that experience, happen. These crew events, if you guys use Job Nimbus, if you have any questions, you shouldn't, because there's all these resources, but maybe you do. Super easy to reach out to. If you can make time available, get to one of these crew events, because they are incredibly impactful. So one of the things we talk about on the show, been talking about on the show, is how important it is just to be in the room. whether we're talking about FenceTech, whether we're talking about any of the events around FenceTech. But you can use that same example for your crew events is do what you can to be in the room. Because not only are you going to learn directly, right, you're also going to make connections that you'll have for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right, from people that use the software because then it's comparing notes with them and it's following up with them later on to say, hey, when I asked this question, I heard you say this. I went home and tried it and it worked a little different. What's your experience been like? And now you have this additional resource of all these people.
Yeah. And I think, again, even for us with our customers, there's nothing better than sitting down in person and being able to chat with you.
Yeah.
Part of why I love coming to shows is meeting the people that I've talked to for years.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And being able to just get to know them.
Yeah. Putting a face with the name or just like seeing them again, just kind of rekindling that relationship. Just, kind of, and it always feels like you're starting off right where you left off too, which is always kind of a nice feeling.
It is nice.
Guys, Job Nimbus, I love using Job Nimbus. If you don't already, you should at least check them out. I think you'll like using them a lot as well. Also, stay tuned moving forward. You'll start seeing me produce more content about Job Nimbus. It's something I'm really excited about bringing to you guys. I think it's made my business much more successful and much more easier to use. I think it will be for you too. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being so willing to come on and share with us your story.
For sure.
Guys, stay tuned. We've got more great interviews coming up tomorrow. We've got a full lineup coming to you tomorrow and then also again on Friday, coming to you live from FenceTech 2026, Indianapolis, Indiana. For now, Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you that great fences make great neighbors. I'll see you next time. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another live interview here in Indianapolis, Indiana at FenceTech 2026. Another great day, another great show. I tell you what, you heard me say this yesterday if you watched. Guys, the crowd's here. I don't know who's left at home to watch this, but it seems like everybody's here. But for you guys watching at home, this is a live interview. If you've got any questions you'd like answered, drop them in the comments below. Joining with us, Caleb Roth.
Hello.
Of a myriad of companies. Today we're talking about Gopherwood.
There you go.
If you guys have watched the channel, you know exactly who Caleb is. Caleb, for maybe the 2 or 3 people out there that haven't met you, a brief introduction.
Yeah, so a myriad of companies, stain and seal experts. Started out in the fence business, started staining fences to make extra money, and the rest is history, right? Somewhere along the way, started making our own stains. Just wanted to control what we were putting on, and then we tried to sell that stain and we were successful, but a lot of fence guys said, I'm too busy to stain, so we started Gopherwood, which is a pre-stained lumber company. Just buy it, install it, it's already done. And so that's us.
Yeah, so, in our experience started with Expert Stain Seal and kind of followed you through that progression. Mm-hmm. We stained for ourselves for quite a long time, offered the variety of pigments and colorations. Then as our situation changed, we started offering pre-stained we started pre-staining our own, I guess I should say. But then it became apparent that we needed that space for something else, so we started bringing in Gopherwood. Now, we also kept the staining machine so that we can stain custom colors, that sort of thing. But in our unique situation, it let us free up an entire warehouse that we were using for pre-stain, for drying lumber and stacking lumber, that sort of thing. I've got to think maybe that's somewhat common, maybe something you've heard before.
Well, if the goal of your fence company is to be the #1 fence company, the best you can be, do you want to be busy staining, pre-staining, doing things like that, or do you want to go sell fence? So I think that's the thing, is let us do it for you, and we'll make it easy.
And I tell you what, it is easy. It's as easy as placing the order, sending a purchase order, and it shows up.
There you go.
So I sent a purchase order over late last week, and I got the message that it's sitting there waiting. So it showed up and it's ready to go. This is our we've had several orders in now, and the thing I like about it all comes pre-wrapped, so we don't really have to worry about keeping it completely undercover out of the weather.
Big thick wraps.
It is. It's really well wrapped. So it's really well taken care of. The pickets are nice. Color's consistent. Right, so that's big to the customers. It's the easy button, really, of pre-stained lumber. And to your point, it lets us reprioritize our space that may have been spent, more pre-staining, but also reallocate our resources back to really what our bread and butter is, which is installing fence.
Building fence.
It's also probably a great way for a fencing contractor to get into offering pre-stain without having to dedicate that much, space and resources.
More people, more team, more space.
Absolutely. Now, and you guys are building out kind of a distribution network.
Yeah.
Right. So probably other contractors similar to us where we install, but we also sell materials there as well, to where a fencing contractor in our area that wanted to offer pre-stain could just swing by and buy job lot quantities.
Right. That's right.
So I tell you what, so Gopher Wood, it's a cedar product, right?
Cedar.
So it's a pre-stained cedar.
Pre-stained cedar offered in Japanese import and Western red cedar.
Okay.
Standard colors, chestnut, it's a medium brown color. We do custom colors by special order.
Sure.
So Zach over here, he does a ton of the custom color stuff.
Okay.
And, it's pretty unique. When you see one go on the ground, it's kind of like a spaceship. You know, people have never really seen one up close, and they see it, and it looks it's different.
So I tell you what, that's really what changed the dynamic in our market is getting a few in the ground, right? Just getting them in some key neighborhoods. Now we priced them accordingly to make sure we got them in the neighborhoods, and really that's all it took, right? Yeah. Is getting people to see what it looks like, how nice it looks, the fact that now there's not a mess in the yard, that there's not any of that. It just showed up nice and done.
That's it.
Now you mentioned Zach, so Zach is new to the channel. Zach, for the folks out there that haven't met you, brief introduction.
So my name is Zach Ballard. I am the third generation of Ballard Fence Company. We were started in 1959 by my grandpa, Gordon Ballard. We really have taken off a lot since we started offering gopher wood. I mean, since 1959, we always kind of had a steady incline, but since we started offering gopher wood, it went straight to the moon, and it's not stopped. So it's been a great thing. It's been really life-changing and company-changing having gopher wood on our shelves.
So what made you seek out Gopher Wood? I guess what brought it to your attention, and how that thought process go?
So we used to stain a lot. We started staining around 7-8 years ago, yep. And I was always the one who was also staining.
Okay.
So
yep.
I was trying to balance installing fence, selling fence, going over customers, and then having to break away from everybody to go stain also. Yeah. And we got to the point to where I said I got to cut something out to make life a little bit easier.
Sure. You probably needed to sleep.
Yeah. I was running low on fumes. I had always been a part of the group on Facebook of Stain Steel University. So I called the offices and I said, do you guys offer any type of pre-staining wood? And we kind of did the same thing that you had mentioned. We got the first one in the ground. I ate a little bit of the money just to try and get this product out to where people saw what we had. And like Caleb had mentioned, it's almost like an alien. People see it and they come outside and
they want to know what it is.
What is this?
Yep.
So when that first happened, we got a few jobs here and there, and then since then, I mean, it's blown up. So in 2025, we ended up doing around 25,000 feet of gopher wood.
No kidding.
So our goal this year, I'm going to try and get anywhere from 75,000 to 100,000 feet in. So we've got big plans for 2026 with it.
That's a few fences.
That's a few
fences.
It's a few. So listen, you think about all those fences. Imagine having to go back and stain them also. Cutting that out has been really incredible.
Yeah, either going and staining it or trying to find a way to stain it on site or any of that. It takes that completely out of the equation.
Yep.
So what has your experience been like? I know our experience has been that really we just place the order, it shows up like magic. Has that been similar to your experience?
So they've been fantastic. I've never worked with anybody who's treated me so fair and done such a great job of handling. Like Caleb mentioned, I do a lot of custom orders, so I'm a little bit more of a headache than I need 5,000 feet of chestnut. I come at them with I need 1,000 feet of slate, and I need some walnut and chocolate, and never ends. Yeah. And it's the easiest process you could possibly imagine, to where I send what I need. We are in constant communication of when it's coming in, what's going on, and then they call me the day before, truck's coming here, it's getting your stuff. The next morning, there it is at our shop.
Shows up.
And you just can't beat it. And then you get the feeling of a kid on Christmas morning when you see that gopher wood truck pull in.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
It's very nice. Caleb, that's the one thing, that's worth talking about, is the fact that seems to be one of your superpowers, is assembling kind of a dream team. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. So I had this conversation yesterday with Job Nimbus, and it's the same with you guys, in that I don't know that I've ever visited and talked to anybody that was just kind of like ho-hum about being there. It seems like everyone's fired up and everyone's ready to make sure the contractor has the best experience possible.
Good. If your people are happy, they take care of your customers, so that's important. And I think everybody in our company is somebody that I would let my kids be around. I would let them be a school teacher for my kids, right? And so that's kind of the gauge for me is do I trust these people? Are they good people? And they do the rest. They make me look good.
It seems to be working out.
Yeah.
Seems to be working out because they, anytime I've got a question, anytime I call, one, everything gets answered, but two, there's generally a follow-up too, just saying, hey, want to make sure we answered the question, we got it taken care of for you. And that's not super common maybe out there in the manufacturing distribution.
Yeah, nobody
space.
likes, I think the intention, if you got to look at you think the intention is always good, but people drop balls because we're busy. We don't write things. We don't write anything down, right?
It's all
ladies
in my
do
head.
that. But yeah, we try to really. We understand what it's like to be a contractor. We know when you need something, you need it. We know when you got a problem. If somebody's ordering something from us in December, we know they probably need that. If it's snowing and they're still out building a fence or out staining something, we know they're trying to make ends meet, and so we don't want to be the weak link in that chain.
Absolutely. So the Dream Team makes everything possible. I think it sounds like, Zach, you've had the same experience I have in that, anything gets handled so very quickly, and ultimately, like, that's probably one of the keys to your success, right? I mean, it helps that you've got a great product.
Yeah, I think so. I think really the reason I started staining and started making the stain the way we did is the number one reason we had callbacks was because warping, cracking, and twisting. So Zach's telling me that you're primarily a pine market.
Where we are, it's typically 100% pine. So when we started offering the pre-stained cedar, we had something that nobody had.
Sure.
So people, like I said, when we got into those first few neighborhoods and really, really started to spread it around, people now seek that out. And they call specifically saying, we want to get this pre-stained cedar in our yard. What can we do to get you all here to measure so we can get this thing going? The best thing too with it is, like Caleb had mentioned, how with the pine, things were warping and whatnot.
Yep.
I really am truthful when I tell you this. We did around 25,000 feet of the pre-stained cedar in 2025, and we got 0 callbacks about anything warping, twisting, cracking. It was perfection. Everything that we got and everything that we put in, and then after it was installed, it stays perfect for the homeowner.
That's probably something good to touch on is the fact that coal rate, right? So coal rate's just something that when you work with enough wood fences, you just start to factor in, whether it's 4 or 5%, whatever it might be. One thing we've noticed with Gopher Wood is, if we wanted to get incredibly picky, we probably could coal some, but I don't know. We don't have a coal pile.
Well, we have a coal pile.
Okay.
So when Gopher Wood runs through our factory, we coal it.
Okay.
They coal it more than I want to coal it, because the guy that runs our Gopher Wood, he was a Toyota guy. He set up Toyota lines in Japan and all over the U.S. And so he's picky, and so he's also incredibly handy. So they coal stuff, they turn it into pallets, they turn it into stickers, they turn it into samples. So we just find a use for that waste, and we're going to have to use samples. We're going to have to use all this stuff anyway. So we're able to coal the material. So when you get something, maybe there may be something in there, it's lumber, but the coal rate's going to be incredibly low.
That's the thing. So I was talking to our lead installer for residential wood. His name's Scott. I was talking to him about it, just having a candid conversation. Say, hey, I know where I'm at when I'm pricing these for coal rate. Like, where should I be? And he's like, you should be at 0. Call it 1% maybe if you have to call it something. But zeros are just about, because he said what he did. So he might find one picket with one face that might look iffy. Well, then you flip it around and it's done. Right? We cover posts and we do things like that with it. Anyway, it's just surprising to me when I've worked with, and we've worked with some really nice lumber, and you always typically have a 3, 4, 5% coal rate. Or listen, if you're working with treated pine, it's closer to 10% or more. So to hear him say probably 0, but put in 1 if you need to put something in, is unique in itself as well.
Absolutely. It's nice. You can sleep well at night knowing that you're not getting a call back in the morning,
right?
That somebody's gate's not opening right, that pickets are starting to pull back and bow. You can go back and check after a year, and it will look the exact same.
Well, and worse than a callback is the neighbor that just walks by and sees it and sees your name on it and goes, "Ew, that's not really a fence I'd want in my yard." The fence signs are our biggest referral source, right? And I say as an industry, the fence signs are our biggest referral source, and it matters the material that you put that fence sign on, because it's going to do one of two things. They're going to see that fence sign, and they're going to look at the fence and go, I don't think that's the one. Or they're going to see it and go, those are the guys I need to call. And maybe I'm going to get bids, maybe I'm not, but those guys are going to be on the list. And it really comes down to material, because you can take the best treated pine material out there. And I'm not throwing shade at the whole industry, I guess, but my personal experience has been you can take the best quality treated pine material and give it 4 or 5 years, it'll still look pretty tough. Like it won't look immaculate, but now your fence sign's on it, right? Yeah. And so now you don't get the opportunity to talk to the neighbor and say, okay, well, listen, I did explain that treated pine's known to warp, twist, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They just see that fence with your sign on it. Now all of a sudden, that's the quality that they associate with your brand. And I think that's probably a bigger discussion, but it helps with a company like Go for Wood, where one, it's a pre-stained fence product, so it looks really nice on day one, but because it's got the same stain that you guys have built your name on, it's going to look great 4, 5, 6 years down the road too.
Yeah, I like to say, if you're selling this, treated pine is kind of what you would tell your customers, builder grade.
Sure.
And everybody gets that. Sometimes that's what you need, but then you've got top of the line. Yeah, that's where we want to put our name, is at that top of the line spot.
Absolutely. So Zach, you had mentioned, so your market is predominantly treated prior to bringing pre-stain, and it predominantly just treated pine?
Yep, it's going to be 100% treated pine.
Okay.
Unless somebody were to like seek out from Home Depot, a big box store, and try and order something, special ordered. But when you do that, you're way up, in the sky for a price wise.
Sure.
But
it's special order.
The Go for Wood, not only are you getting something it's just guaranteed that it's not going to change or twist or warp right away.
Sure.
It comes at a great price. So your customers are getting an awesome product for an awesome price, and they have that product in their yard that nobody else has unless they have a Go for Wood fence. Absolutely.
And the reason I want to talk about that for just a second is the fact that, so I talk to a lot of guys and we talk about, the fact that we use cedar, much less we also offer a pre-stained cedar option. Well, I could never do that because my market's treated pine. That's all these people are willing to buy is treated pine. Like, I've heard contractors have a lot of success offering an alternative to treated pine.
When I hear that, I say, let me ask you a question. Does anybody in your town drive an Escalade or maybe like a King Ranch truck? And they go, oh yeah. And I go,
interesting.
That's interesting. So yeah, there's people out there.
Is it all Chevys, or is there a GMC thrown in there somewhere? Or is there,
well, we put blinders on, right? We get stuck in ruts, and we, all the people that there's a great saying in that movie about Achilles where he said, the little boy said, well, I could never go fight that guy. And he said, that is why no one will remember your name, right? If you want people to remember your name, you got to do big things. You got to do things different. And I think that's what we all need in our business. We want to be noteworthy. We want people to take notice. And so sometimes you got to separate yourself, and you can't get to step 2 if you don't take step 1.
Well, and I think a lot of this too is your market a treated pine market because no one put in any effort into offering alternatives. Now, not just put something up at the local home show, offer and say, well, I showed it, nobody wanted it. Well, have you done any work on educating, right? Have you done any work on marketing? Have you done any work on doing any of this? Probably not. Because people love to have options. And I mean, that's been our experience is people love to pick options. They love to be in control of their destiny. So is your market a treated pine market because that's the only thing people will ever buy, or is it because no one has put in any effort to offer alternatives? And I think if you're the one that starts offering the alternatives, if you become known as the contractor that is, offering an upgraded experience, now all of a sudden you're the guy, you are the guy for a period of time. Now, until all the rest of the competition catches on, and then now all of a sudden everybody's offering a cedar and a pre-stained cedar, that sort of thing. But you kind of get that first mover advantage for a little while too.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I'll tell you one really cool thing that we've been able to do with the cedar that also has really separated us from a lot of companies is a lot of people, there's no warranty for anything for pine.
Yep.
Because, I mean, the smart decision is you don't want to waste money by sending crews back to fix stuff that you educated the homeowner about.
Right.
So we've been able to now offer our customers a 1-year warranty on wood fence when it's the Go for Wood. And that's not something that you see with any other type of wood fence because we feel so safe and so sure that they're not going to be calling back in 2 months.
Sure.
That 2x4s have twisted and 4x4s have bowed over.
Well, and a lot of times contractors will go out of their way to make sure everyone understands that there is no warranty, Like I'm going to put this in writing on my proposal that there is no warranty. And actually this fence is guaranteed to warp, twist, crack, So yeah, if you get to be the contractor that says, no, there is an option that has a warranty.
Yep.
And I am willing to back that up personally. So you can, if you want to choose an option that has no warranty explicitly on the proposal, sure. But I've got an option of something that has a warranty.
Absolutely.
My concrete guy he put a warranty and a guarantee on our concrete pad we just had done. He said, I guarantee it that no one will steal it, and it's guaranteed to crack. It's going to crack, and nobody's going to steal it. So that's the way it goes, right?
Absolutely. So that's the thing. I think it was worth having a conversation on that because there's so many people that still kind of have that mindset that, well, it's great that works in your market, but my market would never adopt this because we're only treated pine. I would challenge that thought. I would say, I bet if you put some time and effort into it, some time educating, some dollars in marketing, I bet you could change that.
Well, it's not going to happen unless you put the time, put the investment into it.
Sure, absolutely. Now, again, so talking about Gopher Wood, talking about it coming from your history in developing stain and creating stain. So the Gopher Wood is stained with the same stain that you guys built your brand on.
Yep.
Which means the thing I usually talk about with the pre-stain, or when I'm talking about your stain, is the fact that it's also really easy to reapply the stain.
Easy to reapply, so you kind of do build in. The fear of loss is greater than the want for gain for most people. So when they have a beautiful stained fence in their yard, and in time, it's going to fade. Sure. And so it's going to be a lot easier to get the maintenance code if you do want to offer the staining service later on down the road to keep it looking good than many times it is to get somebody to do the initial staining on an unstained fence. So it's there's a little bit of built-in thing there. You might find yourself in 3 or 4 years back doing a bunch of staining.
Well,
again.
and that's another amazing thing about the product is, with Expert being on the wood, everybody has kind of they have the horror stories like, well, I don't want, to have to sink the cost of staining again in a year. And they can't believe it when I tell them, well, listen, you won't even see me for 3 years. At a minimum.
Yeah.
Now I'll make sure if they want me to come back in a year, I'm not going to turn down the paycheck.
Nobody says no to that.
But whenever they find out that for 3 years at a minimum, they don't have to worry about, their fence being stained again, it's an easy sell when they know they're getting incredible stain on incredible wood.
Absolutely. And the fact that the reapplication of the stain is so easy. Because that's something, so in our market, there's a lot of water-based stain that's been put out there and a lot of film forming in general. So they say, well, I don't want to have to go through the expense of, trying to strip this off, and then I've got to sand it, and I've got to do this, and I got to do that. Like, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to do any of that either. That's why you're going to love this product, because restaining is actually as simple as there will be a cleaning. I mean, you want to get the environmental stuff off of it, but then after that, it's just a simple reapplication. We're not stripping anything. We're not sanding anything. We're going to give it a clean, and then we're going to restain it. I'll be in and out of your yard in no time before you know it.
That's it. I love it.
So oil-based stain is what makes that. It's a penetrating oil-based stain, which is what makes that possible. Yep. And again, so it's a product that you guys developed based on your years of experience actually being in the field. And
a lot of pre-stain out there in the market. You can go, I won't name names, but you go to a place that sells pre-stained lumber. They got 6 or 7 different people that are making it for them. They're all using a similar color, a different product, and there's different longevities. There's different things. At least with Gopher Wood, you know what you're getting, and you know you can match it. Sure. Later on down the road.
Well, that's a great point too, as far as repairs go and things like that. Excellent. So, Caleb, where can people learn more about Gopher Wood?
Gopherwood.us. You can find us online, all the social medias. I am looking for a gopher that will shake hands and do trade shows with me. There's a bounty out for that. So if any of you folks watching have a gopher for sale, that'd be great.
A trained gopher?
Yeah, but also Staining University is March 4th and 5th this year. Sean King will be there doing a fence install with Gopher Wood. We're going to be doing hands-on training on how to stain fences, how to stain decks, wood restoration, all that stuff. Zach's going to be there, tell his story, and a bunch of other guys. And so if you're watching this, once you get settled back in from FenceTech, March, come on and see us in Nashville there. It's going to be a great event, and you can learn more about it.
Caleb, it's almost like we had practiced this. We didn't, but that was going to be my pivot, is Staining University. So coming right up, it's roughly a month from now. It's going to be just outside Nashville. In
Lebanon, Tennessee. It's about 20 minutes from Nashville Airport. Close to food, hotels, great venue. we're doing a lot of the staining, the hands-on. We got a big enough place we can do it indoors now. So all the deck staining, all that will be indoors. So everybody can get their hands dirty, or they can watch whatever you want. But that's what it's all about. We got some great inspirational speakers. We've got a fantastic scaling up business coach coming.
Excellent.
He's my business coach, but I'm one of the little guys. He's got companies up to almost $1 billion in revenue. Going to talk about strategic planning for your business, which is a missing link for a lot of companies. We got some other guys coming that do similar type of business coaching and things like that. And so our goal is when you come to Staining University, you're going to learn how to do something. You're going to see some cool products in the industry. We've got a lot of exhibitors that'll be there. You're going to see something new.
Yeah.
You're going to meet somebody who's just a great person to network with. And so we want to touch all parts of the person, the spiritual, the emotional, the physical. We want you to walk away from that event fired up, ready to go, kick off the season strong.
Well, and you guys have gotten pretty good at this because you've put on a few Staining Universities.
We have.
When did you guys start doing Staining
2019 was the first
2019.
year. Yeah.
Got it. So I've been coming to those for years. Love them because one, always end up walking away with some education.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things we talk about, just events in general, we talk about this a lot about FenceTech and about the regional shows, is doing whatever you can to get in the room.
Yeah.
Right. Just being in the room around like-minded contractors, and it ends up benefiting you for years, if not decades or generations.
Well, most hate comes from below and most help comes from above, and there's going to be a lot of guys there that are above where you are, and they're happy to help. They're happy to share. They're happy to say, hey, call me if you got a problem. What are you doing for your HR? Call me. What are you doing for your marketing? Or we're running into this problem. They'll help you out, and that's a big deal. You get that network around you. It's a big thing. So I'm excited. I learn something every year.
Absolutely. I'm glad to hear it's all indoors, because there for a little while, the running joke was if you wanted to make sure it rained in your area, you just made sure you have a Staining University there, and it was guaranteed to pour.
Many offenses in the rain at Staining University.
Absolutely.
It stuck. It worked. But
it did, which ended up being a great demonstration.
Also, March 17th, we've got another one in Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
So for you guys up in the north, over in Burlington, Ontario, we're going to have one at March 17th.
Very good. Now, where do people find out more about Staining University?
StainingUniversity.com.
Great. Guys, there's also a great Facebook page. If you guys are in staining, or if you're thinking about getting into staining, the page is an incredible resource. It's full of, again, contractors willing to help everyone out. Actually, Caleb, that's where I found you. That's where we originally got connected, and through that was the podcast, and through that was your YouTube videos, just you being so willing to help everyone learn. So if you've been thinking about it, guys, you haven't checked it out, check out the Facebook group. It's a great resource. If you can make it, if at all possible, you need to be at Staining University. Again, if nothing else, just to be in the room. You're going to leave with some knowledge. I always do. And it's just generally a great time.
Good thing. Staining business was good to my family. It made it where my wife didn't have to work. You said some similar thing happened with you. And so it's good to people, and I want to share that love and help people make a difference.
Very good. Guys, for more information, check out Go For Wood as well as Staining University. It's changed my business. It sounds like it's changed Zach's business as well.
Has.
It can absolutely change yours. I encourage you to check it out.
Cool. Look at there.
For now, Joe Everest.
Caleb Roth.
Zach Ballard.
Reminding you that good fences make good neighbors, and I'll catch you next time. What is up, everybody? Joe Everest, fence expert, coming to you live from Indianapolis, Indiana, from FenceTech 2026, live at the Fence Show. Guys, I tell you what, I've said this all day, and I'll say it again. This place is packed. I don't know who's left watching at home, but it seems like everybody's here. But guys, we want to bring you another great conversation. If you guys watched the live interviews from last year's FenceTech, then you probably watched the one where I talked to these two guys, because it was the most viewed conversation of FenceTech 2025. Wanted to have it again. Maybe there's some new folks watching, or maybe you guys would like to continue the conversation with us. For the 2 or 3 people, gentlemen, that didn't watch that conversation last year, a brief introduction.
Yeah, I'm Jim Wall. I've been in the fence business 55 years, and I've now been working with my son for as many of the kids I wanted to get business. He finally decided to come in. We've been together for 5 years now.
There you go. There you go.
Mike Wall, been in the industry probably real heavy now for the past 7 years, and grew up in the industry all my life. Coming to work with Dad, sweeping the shop, cleaning the yard, and kind of doing it my whole life. And then, just really got into it probably the last 7-8 years.
Yeah, sounds familiar. Started sweeping floors and cleaning up trash, and if you were like me, probably just generally getting in the way more than anything.
Of course,
of course. This sounds very, very familiar. No, guys, I think the reason. So last year, it was one of the most viewed conversation at last year's FenceTech, and I think the reason being, I was thinking on that. So between yesterday and today, I bet I've had 4, 5, 6 conversations from guys and gals, multi-generational, either fence company owners or involved in the fence company in some way. Multi-generational fence companies are still a going thing here in the fencing industry, and it seems to be a conversation that a lot of people are interested in having.
Yeah,
I think that says something for the industry, and this maybe not about generational, but just in the fact that the term fence family gets thrown around a lot, or fence fam. I really feel like our industry is a little bit unique in that it does feel like an extended family, right? Like, gentlemen, we really hadn't met prior to last year's FenceTech, but now Mike and I keep up with each other, and now we talk. And I know if I'm up in your guys' neck of the woods, or my guys are, and they need anything, I can reach out to you guys, and vice versa.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
As I'm talking to friends that have businesses in other industries, one thing I'm learning is that's not as common. Right, it's more like what's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours, and don't come play in my sandbox, and I won't play in yours. Ours is a bit different in that, with few exceptions, we're generally here for each other, regardless. And we could have met each other one time or twice, and we realize that what's good for you is good for me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably something that lends itself to multi-generational businesses.
Yeah.
Right? That you felt comfortable enough with our industry, and that it's got enough potential, it's got enough support that you're willing to bring kids into it.
Yeah, that's true. I was walking around today with, didn't think about it, but somebody I work with, he's third generation.
Yeah.
The grandson.
Okay. Yeah.
His grandfather, his father, and now I'm working with the grandson.
Yeah. Well, my last interview was a gentleman that was in that same situation. His grandfather started the business, and his dad ran it. Now he runs it.
Right.
It's a story that's more common than I probably thought it was, because I didn't know that I'd run into just randomly 4, 5, 6 people just since yesterday that had that same story. And if I'm running into them and it just happens to come up in conversation, like how many other people are walking around here with that same story that I just hadn't had a chance to learn.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
What do you think? Like I said, my idea or my thinking is that it's because of the community feel. But Jim, what do you think? What would be the key reason why we might still continue to see multi-generational businesses in this industry today?
Right. You kind of get indebted to it as an owner or working for a company. You're busy. You're not a 40-hour work week. You go home and your business is separate.
Yeah.
Especially you have yard. The kids start off sweeping the yard just to keep them busy.
Yep.
Something to do and learn it if they take an interest in it.
Sure.
And I just think that's the big part of it. It's a family.
It's a lifestyle.
You have all my daughters were all in answering the phones.
Yep.
Working in the office, filing. Doing accounting work, whatever. So it's always been, at least in my experience, most of the people the family's all involved.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. I have a competitor, another one in Chicago. They're third generation, but all the grandkids are involved.
Really?
Families. There's quite a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's continuing going. And then their kids now are starting to get involved. So great from their so it is, and it's just kind of the culture, I think, of our business.
Yeah,
Really
as our industry in a whole, that makes sense. I mean, well, I don't know about you guys, but in our family, it was just the fact that it was either free or very inexpensive labor. That was what did it for us. Was that, and if we're being really honest, I think it was my mom not wanting me to be around the house, be underfoot at her house. So she said, "You know what? Maybe you ought to go into work with your dad. I think he could find something for you to do that's not here." And then it turned into just maybe some inexpensive labor for just fabricating stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it is nice that it has that family feel.
Yeah. No, it is.
Now, Mike, if you were like me, growing up in the business, I didn't see as much of the potential then as I did later on. Does that sound about right?
1,000%. When when I was a kid and I was working for Jim, it it was a direction he really wanted to go. He really thought, okay, Mike's gonna come in, start the work, start those steps, take over the company.
Sure.
And it just, I didn't put it all together. I wanted to go off and do something else.
Sure.
I wanted to be young, and my brain it wasn't there yet. And
Yeah.
it's funny that years later I come back into it, and the whole mindset is just, completely different to the point. I'm living and breathing fence at this point. And it's
Absolutely.
At what point when I was young did I think that I'd say that? But it's the truth.
For me, it was almost needing to see, thinking that the grass was greener elsewhere, and needing to go see that the grass wasn't nearly as green over there as I thought it was. Right?
Not at all.
Part of that was not wanting to live in my dad's shadow. Part of that was, wanting to make my own name for my own self. I didn't want to be, so oddly enough, my dad's name's Jim as well. So I wanted to be Joe. I didn't want to be Jim's son. Yeah. Right, if that makes sense. And then I went out into the world and I was like, you know what? There's worse things. There's worse things out there than being the boss's son. And so, but when you come back armed with that experience, it says, okay, I'm in a business that is a family-centered business, right? That has, has the culture maybe, or just has the feeling of a family-centered business where, it's not all corporate policies. It's not all, just very strictly business. There's more of a family feel to it.
It's 100% accurate in that aspect. And what's kind of funny is when we talk about that mindset change, I kind of had the same feeling. It's, I want to make a name for myself. I don't want to be just, oh, that's Jim's son. Yeah. But as my mindset changed, it was a great thing to be able to say, and the way it changed, to be able to get excited to talk about, I am his son. I am the second generation. I am going to continue that legacy. And while I am making a name for myself, I'm continuing on a legacy to go forward for my future kids one day and to continue to build.
I think legacy is the word. Yeah. Right. That at a young age, legacy doesn't hold nearly the meaning that it does as you get older. Yeah. Right. And the fact that, in our situation, there's a lot of days where I feel that we're still continuing my granddad's legacy. Yeah. Right. And my dad's he's still active in the business. He's still working on his. And, part of me is like, man, it's going to be a little while before we work on my legacy, before we get around to that. But legacy is the word. Yeah. Right. Is that it's honoring family, and it's honoring the sacrifice that went into getting us to where we are today. It's a different feel than just having a job.
Yes.
Right. Because, there's also part of me that loved the idea of working like 7:30 to 4 and then going home. Like just getting
off. Not the fence industry.
No, oh God, that's part time. That's part time work. And I worked outside the business for a little bit, and it felt empty. Yeah. It felt. What purpose are we driving towards? At least in the family business, again, legacy or providing for the family or providing for our team members' families. It had that feel to it. Yeah. Where out there, kind of in the world or in elsewhere, you really lost that feeling. You really lost touch of that.
I think it goes back to, when you grow up in a family business, you really do. It's something that Jim did very, very well, along with my mom, who I know is watching. Hi, Mom. What they did very well was they made their company was run that everyone there was part of the family. Yeah. Everyone was a team. Everyone mattered. And if there was a problem outside of the office, that they was comfortable enough setting to come and bring it to Jim or bring it to, Deb to say, I got this going on, and you know what? Hey, we're here because you know what?
Sure.
Your family, and the mindset of a family-owned business, it falls into the employees, I think.
Sure.
Majorly.
Well, it's like a family. They're part of the extended family.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're still, because they contribute to what this is, and so they should also feel a part of that family. Matt Warner gave a talk yesterday in talking about people over profits, right? And I think that kind of also gets to the core of the family business dynamic, that you do prioritize your people over profits in a lot of ways, that you're making decisions that are good for the group as a whole, instead of just, kind of a black and white profit, not profitable, decision-making sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, Jim, one thing we talked about before we started is what Mike had kind of brought to the business when he came on. Maybe we talk a little bit about that, about what impact you saw bringing on a younger generation, back kind of into the fold.
Well, it's basically the technology. I mean, since actually I sold the company 10 years ago, the change it has made with the systems and the processes, and it's the suppliers, it's everybody else with the computers and the advertising. I mean, that's the knowledge he brings.
Sure.
I mean, he's become my IT person, other than trying to figure out how to turn on a TV.
Right.
Now it's got to figure out how do we process this? What do you do? I mean, it's a big part of it. So I think things are changing. I think the younger generation can come in and help the older business owners be able to navigate this.
Sure.
I think it's very helpful.
Well, and I'll give my dad credit for the fact that he was open to having that conversation younger.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of times you'll hear about the father-son dynamic having that conversation, but when they're both much older.
Yeah.
Right? And unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately or fortunately, but for us that worked because he kind of said the same thing you did, is like, hey, technology's a thing. Technology is becoming, a more and more important skill to bring into this business, and I can see how you would implement things that would be better for the business as far as a technology standpoint.
Yeah.
And I say that to say, for people that are watching, it's good to start that conversation early, right? About what that succession plan looks like, or what, just whatever that handoff might look like, and keeping in mind that, it's not necessarily losing control. It's more bringing on someone to better the business, or maybe help lead the business into a new generation.
Yeah. And at his age, that's second nature.
Sure.
Where he can handle it. I'll say something. And then being here in some of the classes, and they talk about the AI. I'm thinking, I hear so much about AI. I'm going, and talking to people, they're using it for answering machines, and they're running processes through it. I'm going, ChatGPT, whatever chat.
Yeah.
Really? I was like lost.
Right.
So.
Well, and Jim, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of it that loses me. So don't feel any certain way about that. There's a lot of those conversations that go straight over my head. Now, fortunately, I have a younger sister also involved in the business, and she stays way more up to date with that than I do. So maybe part of this nugget, maybe that you can take away, is find someone who is current and up to date on technology, because it will benefit your business.
And if it's not a family, or you're someone in an older, some older dealing with.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it. Grasp it, because it's here to stay, and I think it's only going to. What I've seen the change in the last 10 years, I can't imagine the next 10 years.
Oh man.
Or what's going to happen.
Yeah, that was part of that conversation we had. Was that So I've got kids that are. I'm considering them coming into the business, whether they are or not. Yep. Again, they don't really understand the benefit quite yet of it. So we'll let them go experience the world, and maybe they come back, maybe they don't. But that's something that boggles my mind is, I can't imagine, where we're going to be 20 years from now, and what incredible benefit they're going to bring to the business, and, and as their way of propelling it forward. There's just no telling.
Yeah, 100%.
As far as it's come, it's unbelievable.
Absolutely. So one of the statistics is the word I heard yesterday. I think it was in Matt's talk. Was that something like 56% of business owners, or no, it was in the keynote. 56% of business owners reported that they were and fencing business owners reported that they were interested in leaving, whether that's retiring, selling, etc., in the next 10 years. Which is probably why conversations like this are becoming more and more interesting and more relevant, because 10 years is quicker than you think. Yeah. What's the saying? The days are long, but the years are fast, or something to that effect. Is a decade's on you pretty quick.
Yeah,
and
real fast.
The correct time to be planning for this was probably 5 years ago, right? But the best time's now. And so that's probably why these conversations are becoming relevant, right? So, Jim, I guess the question I'm asking is, what do you think? In the answer, there's probably not one answer, but how long do you think someone should plan for this? Or I guess, when should they start having these conversations?
For the owner or with the family, you'd have to bring, I brought all the kids in when they were young, and none of them were really interested.
Sure.
I tried much with Mikey, and he wasn't. I had to let him go off on his own.
Yeah.
I actually, when we sold the fence, I sold the fence store to Mikey.
Yeah.
And then he was interested, but I could give him at least a strong customer base that he could be successful with, with working for somebody.
Sure.
On that base.
Yeah.
And it kind of depends on the family. It's kind of a tough question to answer. It's like when you started. I started when they were all little. I think they were 5 and 6 years old in the office. So I don't know when that point would be.
Yeah, and it's probably different for everyone.
Yeah,
right. Every family dynamic's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's all.
But I think the point I'm driving towards is sooner rather than later.
Oh, sure.
Right. So if you're considering, if you're part of the 56% that thinks you're going to get out in the next decade, now's the time. If you haven't had that conversation yet, now is the time to start having that conversation. And it's not, hey, let's do this thing next year. It's, hey, I think I'm going to do this in about a decade. So we need at 2035, it might be a target. So let's work it backwards and see what that looks like.
I think that's I think that's spot on. I think when I was younger, it was the mind wasn't there yet. The thought process wasn't there yet. But I also think that as an owner, you take something from nothing and you build it.
Yeah.
Whether it's that or whether you come in as a second generation, whatever it is, it's your baby. It's your baby. It's what you hold on to.
Yeah.
And especially with children, I think as a parent, you want your children around. You always want them there, and you want them to be successful. You want them to be happy.
Sure.
And within that, I think that there's sometimes a little pressure, and I think I felt that when I was young, that there was so much pressure saying this is what you need to do.
Sure.
But it was, and I think that's where I'm sure, like I said, it kind of came to. You're like, I need to go find myself first.
Yeah.
And then you get into that mindset where you say, okay, I see the grass is not greener. It's not.
Well, and so it's funny that. And I think I probably felt the same thing. Is I probably felt my dad explaining this to me, and I felt that as pressure.
Yeah.
But Jim, I wonder if you had probably had a different experience, right? That you probably didn't intend it as pressure. You're probably just trying to explain, hey, here's where I see this going. But so maybe some of that is like an age dynamic situation too, where you were laying it out. You were trying to explain to him the possibility and maybe the potential, but maybe Mike heard it as pressure.
Well, a thought came in my mind. I got a 2.5-year-old granddaughter, and we were there for Halloween, and we got a picture of her with a hard hat on. So, with the word fence.
Start them young.
In front of the family. So, the thought is there. In a family business, it's always open.
Of course.
And it's great. It's great to work as a family business. Keep it with us. And talking about it. And, we live this industry. You live and breathe it. So it's nice to have somebody to share it with.
I've got a video of one of my kids when they were graduating preschool. They said, what are you going to be when you grow up? And this one said, I'm going to be a fence person. Like, somebody tell me you got that recorded, because I'm using that as evidence. That will be Exhibit A on this is why you said this is the direction you're headed. But no, that's probably, you started. It's a family business, and that's kind of the thing is you want your kids involved with it, but you wanting them involved with it might feel to them as a little pressure too.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of the conversation happening early is, hey, listen, this is not me saying you got to lock down your decision for the rest of your life today, but this is kind of where my head's at, is like, this is going to have to transition at some point. Maybe we should see what that looks like.
Yeah. Well, we talked earlier. I'm going to bring you a photo section of the grandchildren. Mikey, when he first started working, and Mikey today. So we're going to have to do a little photo display of all that next year.
And it is such, Jim, I said it privately and I'll say it publicly. It's such a dad move to have a big. So, Jim, describe the picture for those at home.
Well, I think Mike was 14. I had him cleaning the yard, and with a weed whacker in the back. We were looking for him, where he was at. And I go back and I found him kind of sitting on a pile of material and just sitting there, not moving, looking.
Yeah.
And I don't think he had a phone at the time, so I don't know what he was sitting there looking at for the whole time.
Contemplating life.
Yeah, just contemplating life. Why do you do it? But that picture today is still behind on my desk. So I do remind myself of it constantly, and he gets to see it every time.
Yeah, and that's the dad move, Jim. That is the dad move. To like, hey, I'm going to print this thing out, and I'm going to put it in a frame, and I'm going to remind him every time he sees this picture. And I'm sure, I don't know the situation, but Mike, I almost bet you just had got done doing a lot of work, You took a breath for 30 seconds, and that's right when he
slaving,
came around the corner.
I was slaving all day in the summer heat out there, just dripping sweat, and I'd sit down for 1 minute, there it is.
You had just caught your breath, and you're getting ready to go really get after it again. I just know it.
But I got that picture, so we can talk that forever.
We could judge it next year.
So next year, I'm going to have to put the pictures together.
Yeah.
And I think my daughter is going to frame the picture with the hard hat. So
good. Well, there you go. Yeah. And that's a grandpa move. That's a grandpa move. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. And then you just put that up to remind them gently every time. And remember, this is a commitment. You wore the hard hat, so now you just need to grow into it is all.
Oh, I want to add to that story, though. Yeah. At the time, in the back area, I actually had two of my friends, so every summer that was our gig. Jim would bring us in, he'd pay us cash, go out there, clean the yard.
Yeah.
I would like to know, I was a great delegator because I got them to do a lot of work. And it was great in the aspect. I was able to direct them the perfect way.
So you were developing your leadership skills.
Exactly. Yes. I was a young leader. So
that just didn't get captured in the picture.
Exactly. They were working. I was supervising. I was the leader. You know what I mean? I had the vision. So it was there.
I knew there was another side of this. Listen, as the son that sat on that pile of material, I knew there was another side to that story for sure. Because I had been in that situation. Luckily, my dad didn't take a picture, but I have been in that situation where he'd come around the corner like, what are we doing? Are you doing anything today, or you're just loafing today? Like, I just got done with all this work, and anyway, very father-son dynamic, very very father-son dynamic. And the funny part is, like I said, I think this resonates at home because there's so many people that have similar stories of the the multi-generational. And I say father-son, but anymore it's just as popular to see to father-daughter, right?
Correct.
To see, there's a lot of great family dynamics that are coming into the fencing industry or developing in the fencing industry that I think this industry as a whole will be much better for it.
I 100% agree. I think the more second generation and family owned and it points in every direction of I think what the core value in the industry really is, and we're all family, even direct competitors.
Sure.
Your friends. There's plenty of fence to go around, and when it comes down to the families, everyone knows that.
Absolutely. So there's myself, there's Dan Wheeler, and there's Craig Eubanks all kind of sharing this media space.
Yeah.
And that conversation came up a few days ago. They said, well, aren't you guys all competitors? I said, well, I guess technically we all operate in the same space, but I don't view us as competitors because, we serve different parts of the market and we work really well together. And listen, we would do anything for each other, right? If they needed a cable, we've got a cable. Then I think you see the same thing in the fencing industry. Are we competitors? Technically, but we all can serve the market, right? We can all serve it very well. And listen, if there was only one fence company, it could never serve the entire need of whatever community you're in.
Yeah.
Right? The community needs multiple options, and you get to be one of the options, but you also get to help someone else be that option too. And it's very much a 1 + 1 is 3, right? We're better together. We're better supporting each other. And we win, but also the market wins. Our customers win.
Well, and a prime example you talked about early on. Me and Joe met, like I said, early last year, pretty kind of right before FenceTech connected.
Yeah.
Then we met in person. Then after that, we continued having conversations. And the following week, I called you and I said, hey, I think I got a job that's down there. I don't want to mess with it. If it's a go, I'll let you know. Just go handle the thing, be done, take it, and you know what I mean? Because I know at the end of the day, it's going to get. Hey, Mike, it's something from Chicago. Can you handle this for me?
Yeah,
it's a customer
100%.
I know. Just get out there, take care of them. They're a good guy, and it's reciprocated back and forth.
Well, yes, absolutely. And in a different example, but somewhat related, is if we'll have fence contractors that have a crew in our backyard, right? They're doing some project that this happened where they were a few hours away, but they do business with this customer that just uses them. So they're in our backyard, they're doing the work, and they say, hey, listen, this thing changed, and now I need whatever it was, some tension bands, some brace bands. I need another hookup or two.
Yeah.
Could I send those boys by? Like, yeah, send them by. If you have a material list, I'll have it ready waiting for them because I know time is money. I can have my boys pull it and have it waiting out for them, And I've met this person twice, right? But I know he would do the same thing. If I'm up in his market and I've got something, that he's going to be there for me too.
Yeah.
And that is the 1 + 1 is 3.
Yeah.
Right. That is the added benefit of, and ultimately his customer won from that relationship because
100%.
now it's not a return trip. It's not a massive expense because now you got a whole return trip fee. It was another half an hour to send his guys by, and it was some added costs in fittings, but
Of course.
the customer won in that. It got done that day.
Yep.
And there wasn't a massive expense from all this round trip nonsense.
Exactly. And you know that the next time you call him and say, hey, it's there, and it's and then you slowly build that relationship that it lasts. I mean,
Sure.
Jim's got relationships as technically competitors that he's friends with for 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's just it never ends.
Well, ultimately the thought process here is, listen, if my business loses because of this one thing, it wasn't in good shape to begin with.
Yeah.
Right? Like, ultimately, that's my fault for letting it get in such bad shape that this one thing ruined it.
Yeah.
There's more positivity than negativity out of here. And I think our industry in general, as a whole, is more and more adopting that thought process, right? That, hey, if we all help each other, the rising tide raises all the ships, that sort of thing. We're all better for it. And and I hope that's something that maybe the next generation expands on.
Yeah.
Right. Like when my kids come into it, or when whatever the next generation looks like, that they expand on that. And I don't know what expansion on that or building on that looks like, but I hope that we've laid the foundation to say, hey, here's the building blocks, and we can all work in a better community.
And to anyone that watches that is in this situation with a second generation or third generation, to that owner, looking to their son or their daughter to do it, they want to, you do it in a way to make it seem, you give them the option, you lay out the positives with it, and ultimately everyone needs to be themselves and make their own decisions.
Sure,
and if they want to go that route, but you break it down in a way saying, these are your choices, but give it some time. And I think that goes back to what we were talking about. When do you start that conversation? I think you start it as early as you can.
Yes.
To say, look, hey, I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying in 3 years, but I'm saying in 10, 15 years, I'm not going to be doing this anymore.
Sure.
Let's come up with a plan. Do you want it? Do you not? And if they don't, they don't. But you plan for it.
I think I've said that, and I'm still here.
Well, I shared that with you off camera too, that about every couple of years my dad threatens me and my sister, says, hey, listen, you better figure it out because this is the last one. And and then it's like, well, I think I got another good year in me, so let's hold off on that for just a little while. But listen, next year you better have a plan.
I will.
But
you got to have a plan.
You got to have but then you have another good year.
Yeah.
But and I think our businesses are better for it.
I agree.
I consider myself lucky to have my dad still active in our business because I can pop in his office and say, hey, here's something that's on my mind. Like you've probably seen a version of this, or at least help me think through the thought process. I think I'm right on this, but I could use another set of eyes and ears on this.
Yeah.
And so, I can't tell you how valuable that is. And I bet Mike would probably echo this, that you guys probably have conversations that he finds incredibly valuable that, because you're still there.
Beyond, weekly, on a weekly basis, whether it's on a job that I'm bidding or whether it's on a job that I got, a crew on already, and it's something that I can handle, but it's something that I'm like, is this the best way to do it? And it's a simple, hey, Dad, hey, have you ran into this before? How have you handled it? What have you seen? What do you know? And, kind of just give me that insight. And it's constant learning.
Yeah.
It's constant learning.
Hey, is my head on right on this?
Yeah.
Am I thinking through this correct? And usually the answer is yes. Yeah, yes. And have you thought about this?
Yeah, or it's now when I used to do it, it's like, here we go. And then you die down the rabbit hole.
That can happen, but there's usually wisdom in it.
Of course.
Right, so I think that message is worth putting out there too, that, I think a business itself benefits tremendously from having these multiple generations involved in it. because it's a continuity of education. It's a continuity of history of just, hey, here's, in this business, here's the reason why we do it this way, and here's where we came from, that sort of thing. When I saw a problem like this is how we handled it. Now, today's a different day, but you can probably find a little bit of wisdom in it.
Yeah.
Sure, it cuts a lot of his time down. You're thinking about it, and I'll just say, well, try this.
Yeah.
Never thought of it. And then vice versa. There's certain things I say, and he's seen something that I haven't seen or even thought of.
Yeah.
That's this way, and it works. It works well.
It's a win all the way around. Again, it's a win for the business. It's a win for each of us, right? For having the other there. I don't know. And it's a win for the industry as a whole for having, again, that depth of knowledge involved in it, readily accessible. It's a win for our customers about having that kind of history and product knowledge, that sort of thing available. It's a win all the way around.
Well, too, in today's world, small companies are beaten up by the larger companies.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a pleasure walking around the show that I've actually seen my competitors that their kids are coming up to me. I forgot who they were.
Yeah.
Jim, oh yeah, so-and-so son, type of thing. So we're seeing that. Where is smaller companies like us, they're being all bought up today.
Sure.
In all industries, not just fencing, but roofing.
No.
It's becoming the way of the world.
Yeah.
And so it was nice feeling to see that, because I kind of thought that everything was going away, and to see the people who are just
to see families still involved in the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's wonderful.
Guys, I appreciate you being so willing to come on and have this conversation with me again. I personally enjoy it. I know those at home enjoy it as well. Like I said, I appreciate you being. Mike reached out to me a while ago and said, "Hey, listen, if you'd like to have us on," I said, "Yes, sir, absolutely." Because again, it was the most viewed episode of last year's FenceTech, which tells me this is a conversation that a lot of people find helpful and educational. So I appreciate you guys being willing to come on again and share your story with me. I'd love to do it again next year. With pictures,
with the photos,
with the pictures.
Deb, I know you're watching, so you better get the photos together.
Get them ready,
ready.
Guys. Jim, thank you so much.
Joe.
Mike,
thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Guys, for now, Joe Everest,
Jim Wall,
Mike Wall,
reminding you that good fences make good neighbors, and we'll see you next time. What is up, everybody? Joe Everest, the fence expert, coming to you live from FenceTech 2026 in Indianapolis. I tell you what, guys, I've said it every time, and I'll say it again. This place is hopping, which for a Friday is a little abnormal. I think it's a really good crowd for a Friday.
Well,
sometimes they can be hit or miss.
I think it was intentional, like to schedule some keynotes and some groups this morning and this afternoon, so we could probably keep more people on the floor. It's important.
It's worked.
It's important that your vendors do come here to the show and they invest a lot of dollars. So it is nice that people do stick around and for the last day of the show.
Absolutely, and they're having conversations, right? Like we see people actively engaged in learning about the vendors and their products. So that's a win, guys. If you weren't able to come this year, you got to come next year. Next year we'll be in Phoenix, FenceTech 2027 in Phoenix. It's going to be a heck of a time. And so, a little aside, we just recorded a video with the FenceTech 2027 folks. 75% of the vendors that are here today are scheduled for next year already. The show floor is filling up fast.
Well, you know what? If you did miss it this year, you already missed out.
Yeah, at this point, if you're watching this, well, now this could be recorded, so maybe you were here. But I tell you what, we talked about over 70 educational sessions. An incredible opening keynote. Van Morse is getting ready to do the closing keynote here in a few hours, which will absolutely bring the roof down on this place. You want to make plans to attend. I can't say it enough. You want to be in this room and rooms like this just to better yourself, to better your business, that sort of thing.
And
Rachel, I didn't even introduce you.
Okay.
What a host am I? I just went straight into how excited I am about this show and the next show. And I mean, now listen, if you guys have been in the industry for more than like a couple days, you know Rachel. But Rachel, maybe for the few people out there that haven't had the opportunity to meet you yet, a brief introduction.
Well, my name is Rachel Cruzy, and I am with My Salesman. We are out of Waverly, Nebraska. So we've been sponsoring this show. Since 2015, we've been sponsors.
Wow.
So we do support the AFA and all the education that the AFA brings to contractors and vendors all across the country. And let me just add that if you're not in a room, you should probably find out how to get in the
You've
room.
got to figure out how to get in the room. Absolutely. Whether it's this room or whether it's the educational room or whether it's any of the kind of pre-events. We had a kickoff party. We had a meet and greet. Like, figure out a way to get in those rooms, because that's where the value, that's not the value, not all the value, but a tremendous part of it.
You know, I suppose the old back in the day where businesses made right here, the deals are made face to face. But I almost think it's very different now. Not only deals are made, but those relationships are made, and the relationships is what's key to moving the dial for your own company.
Yeah. You know, I'm thinking about right now dozens on dozens of relationships that have started specifically at a FenceTech. So Nathan Downs and I, very good friends. I would consider him one of my best friends. I met him at FenceTech, so it would have been 2018 maybe, in Phoenix. Now, he's 3 hours down the road from me. He's kind of in my backyard. Never met that guy before until we were at Phoenix. I think it was a Midwest chapter meeting at Phoenix. And lifelong friend, best friend. So relationships are made at these events and in those rooms, whether it's a pre-party or a kickoff party or educational seminar, keynote, here on the show floor. I mean, I'm looking around, and there's still pockets of people that are meeting each other or learning more about each other, that sort of thing.
One takeaway that I would say is not only while you're building these relationships, when you catch something spoken by others, and there's where you're seeking like a mentor relationship out there, and this is the place to seek those out.
Absolutely, 100% it is. So, Rachel, you're also a member of the Midwest chapter, which this year, the Midwest chapter of the AFA, we both are, which happened to be chapter of the year. You might see some new hardware here, or it's not actually new.
It's been around the block, been around our block.
Because we won it last year too.
Yes.
Now, we did take a year off the year before that, but then we won it the year before that. So it's like, we've had it for a while.
Every blind squirrel's got to find a net. So we gave the Carolinas, I think, a little
They missed
taste
it. They missed it. So we was like, you know what? We'll let you borrow that.
Yeah,
But only for a year. It's coming back. It's coming back.
Yeah.
So, chapter of the year, pretty big honor. Like the biggest chapter honor, I feel like. Yeah. So, guys, if you're watching and you're in Missouri, Oklahoma, Northwest Arkansas, Kansas, Nebraska, or Iowa, we'd love to have you on the winning team. And you know what? If you're somewhere close and you just want to be with a winning chapter,
That's right.
we would welcome you with open arms. I'm not saying the rest of them aren't winners, but they don't have the hardware. So, I mean, I'll let you form your own conclusions on that.
And so, Joe, how would they do that? The number one, you could, if you don't know what territory or region you're in, because some of the states are split up a little bit, so you can always contact the AFA, or Joe or I have an ear to what's going on, and we can help you.
You can reach out to me directly. More than happy to help. American Fence Association has an incredible new website. It's been revamped. It is incredibly easy to find the information. There's a map, and it'll show you exactly which chapter you're in. Now, one of the grievances we hear a lot is, well, we have a really big chapter, and geographically, really big.
The footprint, like landmass regionally, it is.
It's large, but now
population is different.
Population's different, and I'm looking at a map over the way. Rocky Mountains is a pretty big chapter too. All right, like that's geographically very big chapter, and I don't. Just a second. No, I don't. Anyway, so if you'd like to join a winning chapter, reach out to me directly. You can reach out through the American Fence Association. Susie Wells is this year's president. She'd love to talk to you and meet with you. We'd love to meet you at a meeting. So come to the winning side.
And may I add, you always have, there's an open invitation to
100%
to join the meetings or whatnot.
Yep.
We encourage it. Bring your friends, and we do have our annual golf outing down at Monkey Island, just north of Tulsa. And there's never a, hey, I'm not a part of the chapter. It's like,
no one's checking membership cards at the door.
On. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, if you show up, you're in the right spot.
You're
essentially.
in the right spot.
And that's another way of getting in the room, right?
Absolutely.
Is just being at one of these events. And listen, if you weren't blessed to be in the Midwest chapter geographically, we understand. Get involved. Get plugged in. I mean, there's a lot. I say a lot of this, but there's a lot of great chapters out there. And it was pretty close. So there's a lot of good chapters doing a lot of good work, not only for themselves, not only for the associations. One of the big components of Chapter of the Year is also service projects. So also taking an active interest in the communities that they live and operate in.
Being a servant leader is always at the top of our list.
100%. 100%. So that's our little plug for the Midwest chapter being Chapter of the Year again. So for more information, reach out to one of us. Rachel, one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on is talk about My Salesman, and we haven't even gotten there yet. My Salesman, I've used My Salesman, so I would describe it, and I don't know if this is right, but as a pre-qualifying tool that lives on your website that we can have our potential customers choose their layouts, choose their materials, get a budgetary price at a time that's convenient for them, a place and a time that's convenient for them. Because we'll see a lot of these quote tools, and we can explain it more in here in a second, but I hope this makes sense. We see a lot of quote tools come through overnight.
Right.
Where they obviously couldn't reach anyone at the office. We don't do house calls at like 1:30 in the morning, but we certainly see these quote tools come through overnight. So pre-qualifying tool lives on a website.
So I would say that's your bullet point. I mean, that's probably the what the biggest takeaway. But it runs quite a bit deeper than that.
Yeah.
As far as what we've done on the back end of things to accommodate and we understand our fence contractors because number one, we are a fence contractor.
Yeah.
So we are always wanting to see what connections that we can make with other people in the industry, other softwares in the industry. We're very good at staying in our lane and doing the best job that we can doing what we do.
Sure.
And we know that there's other CRMs. We're not a CRM, but there's CRMs out there doing the same thing. So what's been the big thing in the industry is the tech stack.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And you've got a tech stack. Everybody's got a tech stack.
Yeah.
And really accommodating for those is what we have really poured into this last year. So we have all kinds of abilities to integrate. We have direct integrations, Job Nimbus and ArcSite, Contractor Accelerator, Jobber. Like we have open API keys. So webhooks and all Zaps, all that technological stuff that I don't even understand.
Sure.
But we've got them. So we've tried to really accommodate for that fence contractor.
Yeah.
But that's just one thing that comes to mind. There's a whole philosophy on My Salesman as far as extending trust. You as a contractor to Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you're extending trust because you're number one, you're giving them the ability to shop a little bit online, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And shop in a way like that they're used to because I know if I'm looking for a home service, the first place I'm going to go is online.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not going to start at this store, this store, this store, this store.
I'm going to go to their website, learn a little bit more about them, that sort of thing.
That's right. So psychologically, there's a lot of like trusting, extending that trust, being transparent, sharing. Hey, this is budgetary information. We can move forward in this relationship, but here it is in about 30 seconds. And
you're meeting them where they're at.
Absolutely.
And it's when they're there, when they're in the decision-making cycle, or at least the information gathering cycle. You're meeting them when they're there, exactly when they're there. They're not waiting to the next day and trying to remember to give you a call. And even when they do give you a call, typically number one question is, so what's a fence cost? Like, well, it depends. Like what kind of fence and how much and where is it? And there's a lot of questions that My Salesman helps answer. So we also, it lives on our website, so we've got a lawn and garden show coming up at the end of this month. It'll be here. I'm going to blink and it'll be here. We love having like a television on display with the My Salesman up because it will help our customers visualize, here's the house. So I want to start at the back corners. I want to go around. Okay, yeah, I see the shed. I want to go around the shed. I want to put a gate here and a gate here. What kind of material would you like? Privacy fence, great. What type of material on the privacy fence, that sort of thing. And give them a budgetary price to walk away with. Right, and then we typically would print it out for them, so they have something tangible to hold, and we'll put some contact information on there. But now they left with information, and likely more information than because at a lawn and garden show they're shopping at every fence booth, right? Yes. They want to get all the information, but they're hopefully leaving with more information from us than they got from anybody else, and it puts us a step ahead.
So number one, they walk into your booth. they do this. They go online or jump on your kiosk or laptop,
Yeah.
put in their information.
Yep.
I'm hoping they spell their name right, but it's all going into your system,
Yes.
correct? Their
Yeah.
address or contact, and they're drawing out exactly where they want their fence
Mm-hmm.
and what fence type. Before they walk away from your booth, they're going to reach in their pocket because they feel a little buzz. They get an email notification.
Yeah.
They see Ozark Fence email, branded.
Yep.
Their all your information and how much a budget summary of how much that fence costs.
Yeah.
I guarantee nobody else in that whole lawn and garden show has that. And you know
Right.
what else? They've put their information into your database. No more fish bowls. No
Yeah.
more them writing on the piece of paper, tossing
Yeah.
in the fishbowl. You have
Right.
it already in your database where you can understand. Hey, this customer's at the home show because that is a thing with my salesman. That when that customer goes through, they are marking that they heard about you from the home show.
Yep.
So you can actually catch your ROI or understand your ROI, and change your statuses within the system. Hey, I sold this job to this job from the home show.
Yeah.
Here's my ROI from the home show. So so much impact from just that customer coming in your booth and putting their info in.
And you've already followed up with them.
You've
You've already followed up where if you put, however you collect information, typically follow-ups happen Monday morning or Monday throughout the day, depending on how successful the show was. Well, if our competitors are doing that, we've already followed up with them the day they were there, several days ahead, right? And so with any luck, they're already past the information gathering and they're already to the decision making. And so hopefully we've kind of skipped ahead of the line in that. Now, and the other thing that I hear is impactful for our customers seeing it on the television is they get a satellite image of the home, right? So there's a level of trust there that goes, oh. And so they'll usually look at it and they go, well, that is my house. Okay. There's a little bit of surprise there. But say, okay, yeah, I do want to draw it right here to here to here to here. There's trust there. But also it's accurate. So that number one question they have is like, well, how accurate is this? Pretty accurate. And it's going to give a budgetary price. Right. So I say, I'm going to tell you my number is going to, unless something drastically changes, my number is going to be within this range. And I know that because I set the range. Right. So I got some inside knowledge here. Yeah. So I say, so if we're off a foot or two, I'm going to dial that in for you. But I know in the back of my mind. So candidly, what we did, because I'm a big believer, like trust but verify, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes,
you guys said it's accurate, but I want to know, is it really? So we took some project data, some projects that were already done that we went and measured with a handy dandy measuring wheel, and compared that with, and then we pulled up the address on my salesman, and we drew it out, and it's pretty stinking accurate.
it is.
Like it was within a couple feet. To where and some people will hear that and they'll say, well, a couple feet, that could be real money. And it can, until you start thinking about the time you've saved. So every sales process is a little bit different. Ours is they'll use the quote tool. I'll look at that. I'll compare it with our county assessor's information just to make sure they drew the drawing where the property lines actually are. Send them a quote. They'll sign the quote, and then I'll go out and meet with them. That's how much trust and confidence I have in this. So if we're 2 feet off, what did I save in gas, time, all that, running out there to all these quotes that maybe did not turn into a job? I make it make sense that way, right? The time savings, the fuel savings, the opportunity cost of not being available, for a customer that was actually serious about a fence. It works in so many different ways, I guess.
It really does. It's multifaceted.
Yeah, and it works for the customer because, again, it meets them where they're at. It gives them a number quickly, and the answer isn't, I don't know, I'm going to have to come out. Anymore, it feels like people think the on-site quote is going to be a high-pressure sales, right? So because we'll say, hey, if for whatever reason, sometimes there's trees, sometimes there's a myriad of reasons, which you guys have ways of getting around, but we'll still go out, right? Or if it's a new build or if it's something like that. And they're always on guard, right? They think, I'm going to pull what can I do to get you to sign on the line today? Which doesn't typically work anyway, so we don't do that, but they're on guard. right? If they're using the quote tool and it meets them where they're at, they're a lot less on guard. They're gathering information rather than having it given to them. And again, to your point earlier, it builds a level of trust. So you talked a little bit about the tech stacks and the integrations, and you touched on a little bit with the home show drop down. You guys also on the back end to the company, you provide a tremendous amount of data.
Yeah, data mining.
Yeah,
and it's all there for the contractor to market to.
Sure.
And understand their customer.
Yeah, and understand
the buyer's journey.
Yeah, and understand the customer segment as a whole, right? So we can say, we can look at sales by lead source, right? And so that gives us a pretty good idea when we're looking at, the next year's marketing plan, when we're budgeting and where should funds go. We can look at that and say, okay, well, this lead source, it generated a lot of quote tools, but they didn't actually turn into customers. So maybe we don't invest as much there, right? But this actually led to getting more customers. We should probably reallocate some of those marketing dollars to the channels that are becoming successful.
Absolutely. And can I just, so it's funny because, my salesman pretty much is like, you don't have to babysit it too much, right?
Right.
So being at the show, I've had like customers that have used the product for over a decade come up and it's like, you know what? I haven't logged in for the last couple of years. I'm like, come on.
It looks very different.
It looks very differently. And I pulled up the report and I started reading on the source and how this person found you. It's like, well, I was driving down the highway and I saw your sign here and I heard it from a friend and they give specific names and he's just like, oh, I had no idea. That's really cool. But you have that ability to look at, hey, how did this person hear about us?
Yeah.
And like you said, we're all trying to understand our ROI when it comes to marketing.
Absolutely.
It's very difficult when it comes to marketing. So this is just giving you a little snapshot of, hey, this is working.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do more of this.
Absolutely.
But just like we'll call him Mark. Yeah, that is his real name. No, actually, it was Chris Steele.
Okay.
I'm just gonna call him out.
Completely fictitious names of people that we may or may not know.
We're just gonna call him out. And he's like, "Oh, I had no idea." I'm like, Chris.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is that kind of speaks to how easy it is to use.
Absolutely.
Right. Like it doesn't get a lot more set it and forget it than that.
Right.
So, and I can see where I can see where he's coming from on that because maybe to pull back the curtain a little bit on how this works is you would say, and these numbers are not real. These are not, I'm not telling you what you should charge for fence, whatever. There's a particular type of fence and you say, hey, typically this fence runs at $32.50 a foot installed. So I'll put that there. But then I'll put that in as my price per foot. But then I can choose to say, hey, when you're showing customers the number, I'd like for you to be 10% below and 15% above, whatever my per foot is. It allows a little wiggle room, right? So, if it's a larger job, and also you can have some per foot or some overall footage, pricing policies in there as well. But
we have some pricing rules that account for how much fence they draw and where's the location of the property.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah, the location of the property. But we can say, hey, we're going to allow for a range here, right? So that if we're looking at it, it's got great road access. It looks like it's going to be a very straightforward process. I can adjust. We typically would adjust our price down a little bit if there's less labor hours, or if you look at this thing, you're like, this is going to be a nightmare. There's one way in, one way out. We're going to have to rappel from the rafters to try to get. You've got some wiggle room, right? You're not locked in at a firm price, I guess is the point.
Right.
Which would then give you a little bit of wiggle room as you're seeing these quotes come in and you're firming up prices to say, hey, my firm price is still within that range. Maybe you don't have a reason to log in. Maybe you just log in to adjust the price if and when it gets there. But boy, there's so much value in that.
Well, so speaking of logging in, I would hope that everybody log in. We did get a new login system this year. It is no longer password protected.
Yep.
That's getting more and more antiquated. Things are getting more sophisticated. So the verification code, if you are using Microsoft 365, it's asking for a password. That's your organizational password.
Okay.
So it's really getting more sophisticated as we have to keep getting better all the time. So that was one of the things that changed. So I'm hoping that people log in. I still get emails saying, "Hey, what's my password?" And not only that, we've been doing this a long time. That almost like everybody has my cell phone number, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
Yep.
I can't log in. I'm like, okay, it's Sunday. Just I'll help you, right? Just let me get out of church first. But so that has changed. So going to log in, you just go to mysalesman.com, click in the member login, and enter in your email. If you're like, I don't remember what email I have, then just go to our support. We have a whole new support at mysalesman.com and say, I need help with getting logged in. So a lot of other cool things with our catalog. So our pictures are bigger, so you have the ability to go in and put high resolution pictures in.
Nice.
Switch them out. We'd love to talk to anybody and get them updated. If they have not logged in to their My Salesman account, we would love to set up an appointment with you and get you caught up to speed, because there are a lot of cool tools for success on there. Notably, one which is newer, we have an in-app notification system. Okay. So if we do have updates, you're going to get a little bell. I know some people don't like notifications, but you're going to get a little bell in the upper right-hand corner. You can click down and say, hey, this is now available with My Salesman.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that bell.
Very good. Very good. A lot's changed and a lot stayed the same, right? The usability hasn't changed. If anything, the usability's probably gotten easier on the customer side, but from our side, it's still super easy to navigate, still super easy to use. And I say that to say, so we changed around some of our material offerings on like a wood privacy fence, and we needed to take one out, we needed to add one in. It took me about 5 minutes taking my time, and that was 3 minutes of me trying to figure out where I downloaded the pictures at, so I could upload them onto there. But super quick and easy. It was, here's my product, my material pictures, here's the different options that are available, that sort of thing. I remember a day where I had to call and have you walk me through that, just because I'm a fence guy. I'm not super tech forward, but you're so patient with me. But I say that to say now I can click through it. It can be done. Even I can do it, and that says a lot. So it's pretty easy to use. If you haven't logged in, you definitely want to log in. There's a whole host of data in there that you're going to want, to have access to.
Absolutely. And if you're working with a marketing company, maybe your website provider also has the services of tracking your analytics.
Sure.
Like, you can track your analytics right through My Salesman. Like, even if you put like a Facebook ad, it's gonna track that. It's not gonna stop anywhere along the way. So if you're needing Google Analytics, and you'll see that on your integrations page. So check out your integrations page and see if your Google Analytics are turned on, or disabled or enabled. Let us know if you need those services. Those are complementary to all the new work that we did over this last year of building things out to accommodate our customers.
I love it. Speaking of integrations, you were talking about how you integrate with a lot of the CRMs in the market. So we use JobNimbus, love them. I understand people use others and love them, totally fine. My experience has been with JobNimbus, so I'll speak on that. You guys make it incredibly easy in that I don't have to do anything to bring all of that information from the customer submitting the quote tool for it coming into the CRM, pre-populating their name, their email, their phone number. It also has the quote tool dropped in there in the documents tab, which is super nice and convenient. Everything just works, and it's kind of like magic.
Right. And if you haven't if you haven't even logged into your JobNimbus, maybe it looks a little different because the records are merging. If there's multi-records of the same customer, they are merging under one. So you have each record of that one customer under
one instead of
several places.
Well, because sometimes customers will run multiple quotes.
Correct.
We'll say, hey, what if I just did the back line and just said, which they could do that in one, but that's okay. We'll let them do that in multiple. But they might submit 3 or 4 or 5.
Right.
And so now they all live in one job or under one customer rather than each having multiple.
Correct.
Super easy to use. Again, it's super easy to view the data. Like there's a whole tab that just kind of, you can start diving deep into the data.
Oh, yeah.
But also super easy to integrate with whichever CRM you guys are using back home. I don't know how many times I can say super easy in one podcast, but we're getting there.
Well,
you guys make it easy for contractors to be successful, I guess is the point.
So Matt has always used the KISS method for everything that we do. Number one, he's like, these are fence contractors. We got to make it really easy.
Yeah.
Number two, it's that one-time user, Mrs. Jones, that, she's only going to go through your product one time.
Sure.
Maybe
sure.
two at best. So,
Yeah.
We have to make it simple.
Yeah. Make it simple for them to use because they're not going to want to spend a lot of time on it. Make it simple for the contractor to use so that because contractors have better things to do than do this. So if I could sum it up, so my salesman is an online lead generation, but also an online a quote tool for your customers. It's a win-win, right? You make it easy for them.
A mini CR. I mean, the amount of data on the back end and what we can do with it, it's, if you're a smaller company and you haven't made that transition to using a CRM, we're probably all you need, really.
Absolutely.
Because all the data is there and you can organize it, filter it, you can export it out. You can even plot it on a map.
Sure.
So you can see where each individual jobs are.
Which again helps with marketing.
Yes.
If we say, hey, if we're talking about digital marketing, hey, the majority of our awarded projects came from zip code 12345, or however many numbers are in a zip code. To put your marketing efforts there.
Right. You can even look you can organize your data.
Yeah.
Like sold jobs.
Yep.
How did they hear about us? And then let's plot that on a map and only see that.
Yeah.
So lots of cool things.
You can drill so deeply into the data,
Right.
It's not even funny. And it's, again, easy to use. You guys are great to work with as far as when you got questions, they don't make you feel like, that you don't know what you're talking about. They'll walk you through it. They're super nice about it. They were able to get me through it, and they made me feel good about the process. So if that's my experience, that can be your experience as well. Great team. I mean, the team that's here is great. The team in the office is really great to work with. If you guys haven't reached out, you ought to. If nothing else, just to get the demo and to meet the people. Your life will be better for meeting these people, I promise you. Even now, they would prefer that you do become a My Salesman customer, but they'll still be friends with you if you don't.
Absolutely. No, we would love to have as many. I mean, what do you do when you have a good tool in the toolbox, right? You want to cascade that message this is going to make your life easier. You're going to be more efficient and be able to service your clients better.
Yeah, you're just able to show up for them better. Absolutely.
So another thing real quick before we leave is, people are always, hey, I'm trying to grow my business.
Yep.
Well, you're trying to grow your business or scale your business. Like, what's the difference? I mean, there's a couple different aspects here. Like, if you want to scale your business, like you're trying to get to that next goal without adding a truck, adding a crew, adding tools. Now that's a big investment.
Yeah.
$175 a month is not a big investment, and you may get the same exact results.
Sure.
So why don't you give us a call. We'll talk about scalability and where that fits in with using My Salesman. We've done it.
Yeah.
We're not just we're not just talking about it. We're actually there's proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
When I joined the team, there was probably 10 of us. I believe there's about 175 team members in our organization now. So learn from those who are doing the things. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. And, talking about a tech stack, and tech stack is really, so I didn't think I had a tech stack until I was talking to Rachel about it. She's like, Joe, do you use software? I do. Do you have apps that you use? I do. And websites? I do. You have a tech stack. Like, news to me, but I'll take it. But out of this tech stack that we use, one of the most affordable, but also one of the most used tools in the tech stack. So it's kind of when we're talking about dollar or value for dollar, I don't know how to rank or how to, it's one of the most valuable tools we have for the least amount of investment. So listen, I've got some other companies that we use. If you could talk to them about this pricing model and just see if we can't chisel that down. The overall cost of the tech stack is getting up there. But no, I want you guys to know at home, like this, depending on what softwares you use and what your bundle looks like, one of the most affordable pieces, one of the most affordable tools and one of the most valuable tools in the toolbox for sure.
Absolutely. And you know what? And here's just a little nugget I'm going to throw out there.
Yeah.
So, when you're signing up for a new software and it's big, hairy, scary software.
Yeah.
It's like in your mind, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me weeks, months to implement. And then I got to get my team on board, and everybody is like, what I really hate to see here is, number one, me asking how you are, Joe, because I'd rather hear something than fine, because that's just pleasantries.
Yeah.
But when I'm telling you, hey, I've got a solution for you, I'd love to share it with you.
Yeah.
And number one, I'd like to share that with everybody.
Yeah.
And I actually lost my train of thought right there. So it's been a long week. Oh yeah, tech stack solutions.
Yeah.
So we use a lot in our business. When I try to explain to a contractor, this is going to literally be the easiest software that you could ever think to use, because number one, we're fence contractors, and
Sure.
we're going to basically deliver you a product that's off the shelf. You really just need to tweak a couple pricing things in your and make sure your catalog's aligned, and then have your copy and paste on your website.
Yeah.
Period. That's it.
Pretty straightforward.
If you're going to sign up for My Salesman, most customers are going to have it up on their website the day of.
Yeah. Absolutely. And within a few hours, it wouldn't even be a day, it would be within a few hours. And then you can tweak and change as it goes. So that's the other nice thing, is that you can customize it as your business changes.
Right.
Because rarely does a business stay exactly the same year on year for a period of time. So as your business changes, it's easy to log in, Chris, and to make those changes, right? To change the material offerings, to change the pricing, to change the price ranges. It's incredibly easy. It's within a minute or two, and it's just a good piece of software. So, and guys, I have used it since before this podcast. I'm not now. Rachel and the team have become friends of mine, but I was using it even before we were friends. We became friends because of the software.
We did.
Really.
Actually, I remember I was a little bit intimidated with talking to Joe on the phone because of his voice, and he was very commanding, and I'm like, oh, and he comes from a fence family.
Sure.
So, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to do a little plug for the women in fence. Right?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to digress here just a little bit.
Go for it.
And yeah, sorry, it's running.
It's all right.
So as a new person to the industry in 2015, you look around the room and you see these people, and everybody knows everybody, and there's a little bit of level of intimidation there.
Sure, yeah.
Until you talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And then they bring you in, and you find out what this industry is really about, right? But when I call Joe, or Joe calls me, and he's asking questions about the software piece of it and his company, I'm like, Joe grew up in this industry. I am very intimidated by trying to talk to him about solutions about this. So in the women's, in the SIG groups today, we kind of a few of us told our stories, right? So I do want people to know, if they haven't been in the industry that long, or if they're just joining, that there are stories that align with theirs. Like that intimidation factor. And I really want to cascade that message that we are in a very inclusive industry, and there's really not too many people that you just can't go to and have a conversation with.
Right.
And Joe has this very commanding voice, right?
Sure.
That's why he does what he does. He's so good at it. His language is awesome. But he really is somebody who's going to care about others, and when they have questions, and not make them feel intimidated.
Well, everyone has questions, right? Like, that's the thing, is everyone started somewhere, and everyone has a journey they're walking through, regardless of how far along the journey they're on. They're still on a journey. And that's one. So when Dan Wheeler and Craig Eubanks and I, we had a kind of what to expect from FenceTech live, each one of us had said, hey, listen, if this is your first FenceTech and you see one of us, I'd like you to come up and introduce yourself so that I can introduce you to my friends. Because this can be an intimidating room. I mean, one, it's gigantic. Like, where do you even start? But two, like, there are groups of people having conversations here, and it might feel like you're an outsider kind of invading a new territory, but that's just because you haven't met anybody yet.
That's 100%.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to 3 or 4 people, and then you're plugged in. And then those 3 or 4 people will introduce you to their friends, who will introduce you to their friends. And by the time you leave here, you got like 20, 30, 40 friends in the industry, and you were just here 1 year.
That's right.
You know, we were over in the My Salesman booth earlier. I was talking to Matt, who has become one of my best friends. And while we're in there, we're seeing people we know, and they're coming in, and we're saying hi. And it really, no matter where you go, it turns into kind of a friends gathering and a reunion kind of thing. Right. But I can definitely see how it would be intimidating.
Yes.
Right. So I guess that's the thing is I'll reiterate that if you're at a Fence show, if you're at a meeting, if you're anywhere, you see me, you see Dan Wheeler, you see Craig, Rachel, I'm going to volunteer. Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, I'm going to volunteer you too. Come up and say hi. I'd love to meet you. 2, I'd love to introduce you to my friends because they will become your friends in about 32 seconds.
And I'd love to hear your story.
Yes. Yeah. I'd love to hear where you are on the journey and where you think your journey's taking you. Now, the journeys usually wander, right? Yes. Like we never end up quite where we think we're going to. But I'd love to hear the story and where you are on the journey, because one thing too is, you know, we probably know somebody who's been on a similar journey or who's headed to a similar destination that we can introduce you to. And, you know, whether we're talking about a mentor role or whatever, I mean, that relationship will likely prove invaluable to you personally and also professionally. We're not kidding when we call this a Fence family.
We're not kidding.
We're not. Now, you know, not all the family gets along all the time, but we do all break bread together, right? We do all come together for a common cause. It's just, there's no weird uncles though. Sometimes at family reunions, there's that one uncle that nobody really talks to because we don't have any of those though. So it's like all the good parts of a family, and not the weird parts. But we're not kidding. It's a Fence family. We're here for everybody. We'd love to meet you guys. We're constantly trying to grow the family because we all understand that we're better together. And rising tide raises all the ships, and we'd love to have every unique skill set we can get.
Right. And when you're coming to the events and you're listening to Joe's show, Joe has a lot of good guests on where you can glean some information, you know. And we have a customer that signed up recently with us, and the question is, hey, how did you hear about us? Well, I listened to Joe. I listened to Matt. Like I listen to all the podcasts. I listen to all the things. So that, you know, that's a good way to open up the window and kind of take a look at things.
Sure.
Before you arrive.
Absolutely. It's a great way to test the waters.
Yeah. You can call My Salesman. You can call Empire. You can ask for myself at any time.
Yep.
Happy to talk to you.
And she's never mean. That's one thing I think is incredibly impressive is Rachel has never once been mean to me. And not that I deserve being mean to, but you know, anyway, she's always had an abundance of patience. Her and the team have always been there for me and answered my questions, and have not made me seem silly or anything, because I've come up with a few doozies of questions where when they give you the answer, I'm like, oh, that was like 2 clicks. Okay, I could. All right. Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Rachel and her team are great. They'll treat you really well. They've always treated me really well. And I think you will have a similar experience out there if you'd like to try their software.
Oh, we'd love to. And we would love that. We've got goals, right? We've got goals.
That's
and right. It's not driven by the almighty dollar.
Right.
But what it is we are really trying to make a difference in people's lives. Yeah. And the My Salesman tool is actually absolute essential.
Yeah. One of your guys' motivators is making an impact. Right? Making an impact on these contractors' businesses, hopefully helping to change the trajectory of their lives and their families' lives and their business lives. And I think that's why I align, or I just feel so aligned with you guys and your brand, because that's where your hearts are at, right? The servant leadership, hey, we know that will be provided for by providing for others.
Absolutely.
So it's a breath of fresh air, you know, just in general. We use a lot of software, and that mentality maybe is not as common in software as it could be. But anyway, so you guys love them. Please reach out. mysalesman.com.
mysalesman.com. But I just want to add again is so one of the philosophies that we hold so dearly is very opposite or polar opposite of a lot of businesses.
Okay.
What we do is we use our business to grow people instead of
There you go.
using people to grow our business. The journey of the individual is what really matters, and their personal, professional growth, and being a good human.
Yeah. So you guys, believe me, I love them. I think you'll too. I think you will too. We'll grab you another water right after the show.
I'm a hot mess.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Being so giving your time, and I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your team's friendship. I hope we'll pass that along. Guys, for more information, mysalesman.com. I love them. I think you will too.
Thanks, Joe.
For now, I'm Joe Everest.
And I'm Rachel Cruzy.
And we're reminding you that good fences make good neighbors. And we'll see you next time. What is up, everybody? Joe Everest, fence expert, joined by
Dan Wheeler.
Craig Eubanks.
coming to you live for the final time from Indianapolis, FenceTech 2026. Guys, what a show.
Holy cow. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it's
I'm at a loss for words, energy. This has been real this week. We always come in prepared, knowing it's going to be a grind, but man, this is just, it went through like a blur, and it's just been action-packed from the start.
So I'll tell you what, so I've been coming to these since 2017, and every year it's like, how does this get better? And then every year you have a show like this where you're like, well, I think this is it. Like, I don't know, like, is there, where else do you go? How far up do you go from here?
Or where can you go?
Well, yeah, exactly. What do you do? And then you start hearing little whispers about the next year, and you're like, oh, well, okay, that's how. So what a week.
I will say, Indianapolis, we did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
We welcomed everyone in, and obviously it snowed before everyone got here, and then it held off while we were here. It was a little nippy at times, but mostly everything was walking inside. So I thought it was great, and heard great reviews.
Yeah. What wasn't accessible via the walkway was close. I mean, it seems like everything was within a couple blocks.
Oh yeah.
Whether dinner, entertainment, whatever.
Yeah, it was really nice. And most of that during normal business hours, you have to walk outside. You just walk the hall of the convention center.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. There's little secrets with it.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. Yeah. Great town. I mean, it was great getting in. I anticipate great getting out, and we're holding or crossing our fingers here. But yeah, what a show.
Yeah, I
what
love
a
it.
show. We're here almost a week, and it's been nonstop action-packed. I said we're going to blink, and next thing you know, we're going to be on a plane, and we're just about there.
Do we get numbers, Joe? Did they release them?
So I don't know
what's your
that
gut tell you?
they're released, but one of the whispers I heard was 6,000.
Ayo.
Which makes sense because the number, one of the firm numbers I heard earlier was 5,500 when they were talking about, I think, day one as far as registrations go. So that makes sense. About 500 more people just decided to drive in and show up. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, 6,000. I mean, that, again, how crazy.
Impressive.
I do want to say that's a top 2 of all-time attendance, number 1 being Nashville.
Yeah, yeah. So I did hear door numbers for, let's see, let me think about, today's Friday. So Wednesday and Thursday. So day one, now keep in mind this is for the afternoon only. So it opened at 12:30. I think opening ceremony was at noon. Doors opened at 12:30 and it closed at 5 or 6. 3,000 people, just name badges through the door. Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, the first full day. Man, I tell you what, my brain shuts down.
I know, it's a week.
3,300. So, and then today, I mean, look around, guys. There's literally people sitting in these booths having conversations right now, and we're 30 minutes away from the close of this show.
Yeah.
I like it. They really did it well. I didn't get to walk the floor much, but I did several times quickly.
Yeah.
And I just don't see the fluff that's added.
Right.
That sometimes there's no just fillers. That's what's nice. I like it.
I will say I walked the floor quite a bit, and wall to wall, even the booths all the way over here in like 144.
Yeah.
I talked to them and asked them. They said they had people there the entire time.
Nice.
Yep.
And I mean, and that's all the way to the other side. I don't remember what numbers those go to, but
Yeah. I was talking to the guys over in Aruval, which are kind of towards that back corner.
Yeah.
They had a great show. Talking to people back in the tools, trucks, and trailers behind us.
Yeah.
Sounds like they've had a great show as well. So, I mean, again, so we said this about the education where there's nobody that came out and was just like, meh, it's all right. Same story goes for the vendors. Like I haven't had any that are like, yeah, it was okay. I mean,
I just I talked a lot to the ag guys for whatever reason. I got kind of roped into that. Love those guys, and man, they had the strongest showing I think.
Nice.
Yet you've been going to a lot more than me, Joe.
No, in terms of just showing up, 100%. Absolutely. We talked about this last night and the night before. Just that, the agricultural industry has absolutely showed up. Agricultural portion of the industry has absolutely shown up. I'm here for it. Like, and Dan, I'll say this live. What I said, Ted, to you personally, I think you've got a large role in that. So I think you deserve a lot of the now. There's a lot of legwork getting put in by a lot of guys. And so I don't want to minimize any of that. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you congratulations on the portion that the role that you've played in that, about just kind of connecting dots and bringing awareness to it.
It's scary because you're pushing guys to get here to better themselves, and you're pushing vendors to be here for the guys. Yeah. So like, do you put the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart? So it's really a risk it. And
of course.
That's out of my nature. And we did it this year, and I just interviewed Beckhart Wire, a great supporter. Yeah, along with Keystone, Stockade, American Timbers. I don't want to start naming them. OK brand fence products. You can go on and on. Log Cabin Pro drivers. Yes. Montana drivers. Right. It just. When has the last time have you named off that many vendors? Ag specific. Right. And then we had Ornamental Ag Roundtable, which is a special interest group now. On top of that. Yep. At one time, Joe, we had 11. The other day, that I didn't count today, 11 ag companies from 19 years old to one of the biggest ones in the country standing over here. Yeah. It's wild.
Can I give the 19-year-old a shout out real quick? Mm-hmm. Because we went to dinner last night, and the 19-year-old Preston secretly paid for dinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No one knew or anything. We thought it was the Randy Marion people. Then we thought maybe Dan Wheeler did with all his podcast money.
With Joe's checkbook,
And then we were like, who did? And we're literally going around, and finally the waitress said, it was the young kid at your own table. Really? And we were like, what?
And he was drugged there by Justin Airy. He's like, you're going to get in the truck and coming with me. And
it's a very Justin thing.
He had a room for him. Yeah. And now look at what he was exposed. So Justin Airy's a big one. Ryan Sloop, Matt Shaver. Those three really push it hard. Mm-hmm. So shout out to them.
Yeah. Like I said, I understand it's a group effort. And I think everyone should be commended. Right. Mm-hmm. So I love to see members of the Fence fam all come together, whether it's extended family or not. Like we're all in the same industry, right? No matter which segment of the industry we serve. So I'm glad to see them all come together. And like I said, I just wanted to give you the acknowledgement for the role you played in that of connecting those dots for sure.
Yeah. I want to say, I think another huge thing too, because we were talk about next year's show. I forget do we know the number of the amount of vendors that have already went over to reserve their booths?
So 75% of the vendors that are here for this show have already pre-registered for next year.
Now let's think about that. AFA is not going out and like promising them anything, or they're not, trying to approach them. They're coming here and saying, okay, this show has been so big, like we want to be a part of this.
I think that speaks to value.
Yes.
Right? That they obviously felt so much value here that they couldn't wait for the opportunity to head over. It's absolutely unreal. And a lot of the vendors that I spoke to, actually, some of us were together when we spoke to them and said, hey, this year we were only able to get this size. We really wanted more. So when our time slot comes, we're going to go over there and see if we can't get the bigger booth that we wanted. Yeah. Now, the show floor, I think all we're supposed to say is it's going to be bigger. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a heck of a show. This show got sold out twice. They sold out the main floor that we're sitting on. They opened up the show floor behind us, sold that dude out. So to think 75% of this room is already spoken for next year, and they haven't done any outreach.
And plans for growth if it happens. That's what's exciting.
So there are some exciting things that have already been announced. So next year there's a greater emphasis in kind of the outdoor space, the outdoor living space. Yes. Several of the vendors I've talked to are incredibly excited about that. Mm-hmm. A lot of the installers here should be really excited about that. So it comes to mind the Robert Whitakers out there that have really, really started carving out additional space in that backyard niche. Said, hey, you already know, like, and trust us for doing your fence. We'd also, if you've thought about doing an outdoor kitchen, we'd love to talk to you, a patio, gazebo, whatever it is. We've got a solution for you. We'd love to talk to you about that. That conversation is incredibly easy to have. And now I love that the AFA has recognized that direction, that the industry's already headed that direction. They're allowing for it, and they're opening up that area. I think that's, we were talking about areas for growth, right? Tool trucks and trailers, I still stand by that. The outdoor living, I could see that being a very big driver too.
Yes. The next big thing is tools, trucks, and trailers. I think that buzz is there for. I think there's a need for it. Justin Airy spoke about it in the special interest group at the Ornamental Ag Roundtable. It's everything from drill bits to the best blades to grinder against grinder, welders, Lincoln versus Miller, right? It's all side by sides. We use side by sides. Ag guys use side by. So it's that's where it's going to grow.
Well, we talked about this the other day, just the buying power that this industry has, not only in this room, but just the industry as a whole. If we're talking about hand tools, if we're talking about, small to medium to large size equipment, I mean, you've got everything here. I mean, we've got trucks, we've got, the Isuzu over there.
Yes.
Now, he had the keys in his pocket.
I bet.
He said all I had to do was just sign a few things, and then he would let me drive that thing home.
Or what about these two behind us?
Right. Yeah, the Ford and the Chevy back there.
Yeah.
A little disappointed, I'm not going to lie, that they didn't have a real work truck up there. I mean, you would expect to see in a room like this full of professionals, you'd expect to see a Ram.
Well,
but
we want professional grade trucks. That's why the Chevy's here.
Okay. Sure.
Actually, that's the reasoning. So he kind of told me in secrecy. I'm letting it out. I'm sorry.
He actually said the reason why he didn't bring a Ram because they don't bring their high dollar stuff here.
Yeah, that makes it. It would make the Ford and Chevy look just look bad. Joining the show, Michael Reed. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. Yeah. We were just so we've been talking this as the show wrap up. We were just kind of bragging on you and the team for putting on another great FenceTech. I've been coming to these since 2017, and it seems like every year gets better, and every year we say, I have no idea where you go from here. Like, what's up from this? And then the next year shows up, and it's a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we want to do. We want to raise people's expectations and then exceed them, and then raise people's expectations again and then exceed it. So there is that element of what's going to come next for folks.
Sure. We had just touched on the outdoor living space.
Yep.
About how that's an incredible growth opportunity for the industry as a whole, and the AFA has done a great job at recognizing that early.
Yep.
And making space available for that. A lot of the vendors here are very excited. A lot of the contractors here are very excited because they're starting to get into that. The Robert Whitakers of the world, that name comes to my mind, but there's a lot of residential contractors out there that have already seen that as a potential growth model. And so to incorporate that into FenceTech next year, I think is an incredible idea.
So I see us growing along kind of three parallel paths. That first one happens to be that outdoor living space. So those folks who are very active in the residential market, looking at expanding beyond just the fence in the backyard so that they can talk about, and we've seen lots of people do it. They start hardscaping, they start landscaping, they start doing some outdoor kitchens, something that they can do in their market that will set their business apart. And if that's your growth pattern, great. If your growth pattern happens to be on access control and some of these more technical things, then that's the vendors that we want here. That's the education we want to provide. And then in that third realm is, that, might have already talked about it, but that ag fence area.
John Michael Randy, please come to the FenceTech AFA booth on the FenceTech show floor to pick up a lost item. John Michael Randy, please come to the AFA booth.
John, if you're watching, AFA booth.
I'm sure he is.
So those three parallel paths, that idea of how do we extend beyond the fence into that backyard space?
Yep.
More profit, more projects with more profit margin. Then how do we extend in that commercial space into that high security area? Mm-hmm. And then where there's just so much passion and so much interest in fencers in general, every time that we do ag fence or kind of these solar fence projects that are ag oriented, there's just a ton of people who want to learn something new. And those are the three areas that we see growth opportunity in.
And I think everyone is really excited. So, I mean, your guys' vision, I think, aligns really well with where the market sees it going as well, which is Nice to see. And then you've got the area like what's behind us, the tools, trucks, and trailers that kind of overlaps all of those, right? So you've got equipment that all of these contractors are using. So I've been like, as we're talking all that, I've been kind of keeping an eye behind us. It seems like there's been a really good crowd back there throughout the week. I think, again, another great idea that's panned out very well.
Mm-hmm. So I think that you touched on, as I walked in, I think you guys touched on something that's really important. It's that balance between seeing innovation on the floor and getting educated on what's happening in your business, both on the technical side and on the business side.
Yep.
And then that third piece that is the all-important piece, which is that networking piece.
Well, that's the thing, is this is a great place to get all three, right? That you can get, so the networking, so the week's kind of kicked off with networking. I think everyone had a great time with that. Then we rolled straight into education. I mean, shout out Nick Reich for just really nailing the education aspect of this. 70-plus educational seminars, not counting Monday. So there's a plus on there because had some extra courses on Monday. Yeah. I tell you what, really knocked it out of the park with that. Rolled straight into the show floor, which has been full. I mean, guys, we're 20 minutes away from the doors closing on this thing, and there's still people walking into booths having conversations.
Yeah, on my way over here, there were still people in full conversation with potential customers.
I think that says a lot. Yeah. I really do, about the value. And we spoke or touched on the fact that 75% of the vendors that are here have spoken for spaces for next year. Again, I think that speaks to value, that while they're here, they so actively believe in the value and they want to make sure they reserve a spot for next year that they've already committed to it. I think that's huge.
And it'll be a lot different weather next year.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking at shorts and flip-flops.
Sure. We're going to cross our fingers for no more like Arctic hurricanes or anything.
Any Arctic hurricanes. There may be some hurricanes involved, but they'll be at the spring training ballparks and stuff like that.
There you go. There you go. No, I tell you what, Phoenix is going to be a great spot. So I'm trying to remember, was Phoenix 2018 maybe? Does that ring a bell? It was in that 2018, 2019 maybe. The last time I was there, incredible show, great venue. Yeah. So these venues, these convention centers are really figuring it out in that everything's right there, right? So we talked about that earlier, that the great thing about Indy is if it wasn't connected, you could still get, everything's within a couple blocks of what you wanted to see.
Well, Craig promised that, and he delivered.
I did.
You got nervous, didn't you, Craig?
I was super nervous all week. I'm not going to lie. You would think that I planned this entire show by myself, how nervous I was. Because my hometown, I was like, I want everyone to have a great time, great experience. And I think, honestly, it's been great.
Yes.
Just seeing everybody and the different vendors and stuff, and everyone seemed to have a great time.
Well, I will just say to all three of you, I'll start with Craig and just say thanks, Craig, for playing host to your city. I think y'all did a great job, and Dan and Joe, we've gone now on, this is our third year in kind of partnership with y'all, and I just want to say thanks to all three of you, because it's been a great partnership, and it's grown and changed each year. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing what happens over this next year in terms of what we do together. I think between you and getting feedback from your audience and what they'd like to see, this is y'all are a great touch point with the industry, so we know how to make tweaks to make this best for participants.
Mm-hmm. I think you're in the right direction.
Well, thanks.
I not just the right direction. I think they went a milestone or a huge step in the right direction.
It's
setting those high expectations and then exceeding them.
Yes.
Well, we had that conversation, I believe, during the opening show, where we were talking about how the AFA really has done a great job at listening to the industry and to the market, and not only answering and delivering on those requests, but taking it a step further to say, not only are we going to recognize this, we're also going to set up, if we're talking about special interest groups, not only are we going to recognize you, we're going to give you a whole space for your community to build that out within our organization. Yep. So the special interest group meetings this morning went incredibly well. Yeah. I think everyone had a great time with that. We could give examples, Michael, for the next half hour of ways that the association has done an incredible job at listening, and then not only, acknowledging, but setting into motion, active ways of answering and exceeding those requests.
Did you all? This might be a nice way for me to kind of put an exclamation point in that. But did you all talk about the new mission statement for AFA?
We haven't.
So why don't I use that as this is an opportunity to talk about that, and then that's where I'll leave you guys with my sincere appreciation for you and your audiences. And then that whole idea of listening and getting feedback from members. So AFA's new mission statement is AFA unites the industry to do three things. First is develop community, develop leaders, and inspire growth. Create community, develop leaders, inspire growth.
Yeah.
And those three things kind of encapsulate why people come to AFA.
Yeah.
It's about having that community, having that fence family that you all help to promote and bring together in each of your own unique ways. It's that whole idea of developing leaders, and we don't just keep our leaders to ourselves. Our leaders come to AFA, and then they go back into their communities at home, willing to create interest, and then that last piece of inspiring growth. It's not just business growth; it's about your growth inside as a human being.
Mm-hmm. I think you guys have done a great job at that. You just changed the mission statement, and I think this FenceTech did a great job at laying the groundwork for that.
Yeah.
Right. Not to put it too fine a point on it, but Leadership Academy kicked off on Monday morning.
That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. With, let me tell you, great results.
Yeah. It was
so,
incredible.
Guys, you can look forward to seeing content on the Leadership Academy. Sarah did a great job of covering it. We're going to have a recap with her, and then also with Robert and Sean at a later date. So stay tuned for that. But we started it off with Leadership Academy that went incredibly well. Yeah. So, we talk a lot about, leading up to this show about this is the room to be in for a myriad of reasons, whether it is networking, whether it is personal or professional development, whether it is just getting plugged in initially. This is the room to be in. And whether it's this room or the education rooms or the pre-event rooms, this is the place to be, and this is the why, right? The fact, where else do you get to be around 5,500, 6,000 of your peers and colleagues, right? So it's, I don't know how else to explain just how important it is to be here, to be around vendors and peers and an association that legitimately cares about you.
I agree.
So Phoenix 2027, next FenceTech coming up. It's going to be a little bit different weather. Yeah. Hopefully a little bit warmer, a little bit different climate.
Watch, we're gonna jinx it though, and
no,
it's gonna be
we are not gonna.
It's gonna be a cold front come through.
No.
Listen.
It might be 70.
I was gonna say a cold front in Phoenix is a lot different than a cold front here. The other day when I walked across, it was 6 degrees out there.
Yeah.
The day it's 6 degrees in Phoenix, there's a lot worse things going on in the world.
Yeah.
So, guys, put it on your calendar. First week in March.
Yes. Yeah. March 1st through 5th.
Phoenix, Arizona. Guys, if you're a vendor watching, you'd better reach out pretty quick. Sales at AmericanFenceAssociation.com sounds right. Stay tuned for some more content. We found some content with those folks.
One more exclamation on Phoenix.
Sir.
65th anniversary of the organization.
65th organization.
So it's going to be a homecoming of sorts. So it's come back to AFA. We're going to bring back generations. We're going to bring back, so think generations of a company.
Yeah.
Think all those early fence installation school instructors all coming back.
Oh yeah.
Think all those gate operator installer school instructors coming back. So this idea of the 65th anniversary and us providing a long-term guidance and leadership in the industry, it's bringing that all back, and we're going to do it in Phoenix, and we're plus 6,000 here. And so I don't know what we're going to do in Phoenix, because when we bring our entire fence, sometimes you have a barbecue with your family.
Sure.
Sometimes you have a family reunion. We're shooting for a family reunion style event.
The reunions are always significantly larger.
That's right.
For sure. It'll also be a great, so speaking about homecoming, so we can't go throughout the whole interview without speaking about some hardware we have here on the table. Guys, if you listen to my last live, I talked to you all about how big of a deal it is. The chapter of the year is the Pinnacle Award for the chapter level. This embodies like everything a chapter should be, right? That it is the Pinnacle Award. Second year in a row, Midwest chapter, of course, won it because they are the premier
Hear a
regional
lot of smack
chapter.
being talked right now. Too.
So I'm just waiting for him to chug whatever's in there. then he can say whatever he wants. But
Listen,
until then,
the instructions were very clear when this was handed to me that nothing goes in it. I don't know why they felt the need. Anyway, so what a year! This big homecoming year to 3 years in a row. That just has a ring in my ears to it. That we're talking about homecoming. We're talking about just family reunion. So guys, stay tuned for that. Everyone says they're coming for us, and I reminded them. I heard that at mid-year meeting, but that's okay. That's okay. But no, it's 65th year, 2027, Phoenix, Arizona. Again, like, how do you do better? How do you get bigger? And it sounds like the groundwork has already been laid.
They've already started the groundwork.
Michael, I said it to you privately, and I'd like to say it to you publicly. You and your team have absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Thank you. They are spectacular.
They really are. We talked on the opening show about we were giving you some props for putting together a dream team, right? Whether it's Danielle or it's Nick or it's any one of the people that are behind the scenes that nobody sees puts hundreds of thousands of hours into these events.
Yeah.
That I think the proof's in the pudding when it just goes off without, from our perspective, without a hitch. Like, I'm sure there was a few hitches here and there, but it just looked easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll be honest, it looked easy to me, and I think you're absolutely right. There are hitches that come up,
sure,
and they just move around them. It's just beautiful.
Just smooth them out nice and gently. So it's been a great show, Michael. I hope you'll pass on to your team from us that they did a great job. And
I'm passing on to the three of you just, again, how grateful we are and how appreciative we are for our partnership.
Michael, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Guys, for now, Joe Everest,
Dan Wheeler,
Craig Eubanks.
And I'm Michael Reed.
reminding you that good fences make good neighbors, and we'll see you next year.